Welcome to The Lady Killers, a feminine rage podcast. Hello, and welcome to The Lady Killers, a feminine rage podcast. I am your host, Jennifer's Body Adams, and I'm a simple girl. And girls only want one thing. We want to see dong in our movies.
Yes.
Yes. We've talked about this before. It's not because we're perverts and just want to see a bunch of dicks,
Well,
because, I mean,
Two
it's
things
not
can
that
be
we're
true,
not
right?
perverts. It's just that's not our sole motivation. What we want is if there is bush on screen, I want to see dongs on screen too.
That's feminism at a
That
basis.
is feminism. It is dongs for equity, which
Yes.
we are going to have to get on a keychain or something, or, I don't know,
DFE.
maybe some socks,
I'd wear some cute socks with that on, like embroidered on the side.
dongs for equity.
Yeah. It just feels right. Like if you're gonna show a bunch of lady parts in the first one, which you did, you got to give the ladies what they want. When
I'm
you
just
change the gender.
imagining our giant slogan, dongs for equity. It just feels right.
Dongs for all.
Yes, exactly. That's what we
Dongs for
want.
all.
Women only want one thing.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's the Practical Magic House, and sometimes it's dongs for equity.
Equal pay and dongs. And free dongs.
Why am I talking about this very weird thing? Aside from the fact that I just kind of do talk about this stuff randomly because that's a part of who I am. We are talking about a movie that does show some dong here, and I believe we get more dong than we do some bush. So I'm excited about that.
More dong than bush.
I think this
More
might be
dong
the
than
most I've
bush.
ever said bush earnestly too in a while. So
I recently saw a old campaign shirt for George W. Bush, and it was like "Women for Bush," and it was like I just loved
we
it.
should
Like
all
I was
get
like, I
those.
want
Yeah.
one so bad.
The Nashville mayor was named Bill Boner for a while, so I
Shut
shout
up.
out some
That's
really
so
great
lucky.
Did he
campaign.
change
Oh my
his name?
God.
No, I know.
I think what it said was the W stands for women, so everyone was like George Women Bush, and I was like, perfect. That's amazing. So
Sounds-
if anyone
sounds
finds
great.
that T-shirt, please send
Yeah.
it to me
Just-
because I would like one.
Exactly, yeah. Well, anyway, so we are talking about a movie with some dongs in it, but it's also surprisingly feminist. There are a lot more women in this movie than I was expecting. Before I watched it for the first time, we are watching Hostel Part 2. But I'm not alone. I'm joined by a fabulous panel of lady killer experts. Shelby, say hello and tell us, are you a fan of torture porn?
Hi, I'm Shelby, and I avoided a lot of torture porn in my younger days because I went through my earlier phase of like edgelord, which is so funny because off air we already had this conversation, but like the edgelord phase of like rotten.com and all those like really brutal websites. So then when some of the torture porn movies started getting a little more popular in like the early mid aughts, like I didn't watch a lot of them. And I was telling you guys, Hostel passed me by, the whole franchise passed me by somehow. So this is actually my first Hostel movie, totally. So, which I know we get to
Really?
later, but
There's
I'm
a
already
third
saying
one?
it. Yeah,
I
there's a
think
third
so.
one.
I've
Oh,
never,
I
I
didn't
don't
know.
hear much
I read a
about
lot
it.
of people on Reddit said it was very bad, and there's a lot of CGI, which almost makes me kind of want to see it out of morbid curiosity.
I know
but-
that does. Yeah, you do. That sounds up your alley.
Maybe
right?
there's some CGI dong,
and Bush.
One can only hope.
One can only
Yes.
hope. Yes. Yeah. Well, Rachel, say hello and tell us, are you a fan of torture porn?
Hi, Rachel here, reporting for duty. Fan of torture porn? No, not really.
Such a strange question to be
Say
asked.
out loud, yeah.
It's one of those things like I respect it in some ways. Like I
Yes.
understand and like where it fits into horror history. Obviously, there's a lot of, paying homage to a lot of other older films, Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Ferox, like all of those kind of films. So it's like I get it comes from a long lineage of torture, and kind of like really super interesting, like where it falls and like why it kind of resurged at this time. There's a book called Millennial Nasties that came out just a few years ago that one of our multiple friend of ours, Ariel Power Schaub wrote, and I really it was really interesting to read that book and just kind of talk about like, oh yeah, like there was a reason why this happened. So I respect it from that angle. However, me personally, is this my idea of a good time? Not really, because like I don't enjoy watching some of this. However, there is a line, and I don't even know what the line is, and I can't wait to like kind of talk about it some more because I do enjoy the Saw films, and like seeing the first Saw movie when it first came out is one of like my favorite movie going experiences of all time.
Me too.
But there has to be some sort of element of like fun or kitsch or a gimmick, and that's in this one, which I think
Oh,
is
yeah.
maybe perhaps
Mhm.
why I kind of like this one perhaps the most, and why I think a lot of people like this one more than the first one, because it's just not as mean in some ways.
Yeah.
So overall, not a fan, but if it hits the right notes, I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sammy, say hello and tell us, are you a fan of torture porn?
This is Sammy. I'm never traveling alone again, Rothman.
Seriously.
And I mean, I don't like not like it. I'm like Rachel. Like when you said like you don't know what the line is, but you know when you feel it, kind of. But you never know until you get there because I too love the Saw movies. Like I think I affiliate just the genre of torture porn with that Twisted Pictures logo with
Oh,
like
yeah.
as it would come in and like
Barbed wire.
yes, like that is like what, because like new metal is also what I associate with it too. I
Yeah.
mean, I go hard for the Saw movies. I think even the bad ones are fun to watch, and they're, I don't know, I never feel like they get so visceral that it like borders on a line where I feel like you're being misogynistic, you know what I mean? Like everyone's kind of, it's all equal genders being killed in all of those movies. I feel like there's no like, oh, we're just killing women to kill women type of thing,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
really appreciate about that franchise. But I also, I said it to you guys last night in our text exchange, but like I can stomach these texts if there's enough meat on the bones, that they're tearing apart, if that makes sense. Like for instance, and sorry, because I might make this comparison a few times, and I know this movie has paid for a lot of my rents over the years, but I will be the first to say that I hate the Terrifier films. I feel like it's just violence for the sake of violence. Like I just don't feel like there's any thought or real plot, or even characters that I really care about. I just feel like it's, to me, it's like low hanging fruit of torture porn. Like it's like the brain rot torture porn. And I don't know. I feel like it's people who shop at Spencer's, and like they just are like really hardcore, and I can't deal with that. Like it just, they're the people who like it because of just blood and seeing pussy ripped up. Like that's just, I can't. Like it's
I'm
not
laughing
my
because I
thing.
agree so hard, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm allowed to. Can you black
I'm
out my
sorry.
face?
I'm
No.
not. Luckily,
No, I know what you mean.
I like. I'm not selling the movie or anything. And I have so much, appreciation and respect for the work that goes into it. Aside from a few people, but or one. But all I will say is that like
Couple,
those just,
it's fine. Yeah,
that's fine.
a couple,
That's not. I'm
yeah.
not naming any names, but I definitely
Yeah.
have an issue with a couple of the creators behind that, and I think some of the controversy that's come out of it is totally respectable and totally understandable. But I don't know. I like when there is an art form to it. You know what I mean? Like there's an actual like you're trying to say something, and there has to be a good script and good characters, and I'll be honest, wasn't expecting it from this one that we are about to talk about today, but it did deliver on that front for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I famously have, hasn't always loved the Terrifier movies. That was a movie I talked about in code for a long time because I didn't want to say that I didn't like
I
it.
know I probably should care more. I just don't
Well,
anymore.
I've come around on the second and third ones. I don't enjoy them because it's too much for me. But the people I know that do really enjoy them, some of them are like gore hounds who also like the first one. The first one I have a
Yes.
lot of issues with, and I just feel that's a conversation for another day, maybe. But the second one, I've heard people defend the creativity of the gore, and I do think that Art's performance, Thornton, I believe, is the actor. I do think that is an interesting performance. Like he's doing miming, he's doing clowning.
Yeah.
It's just it's too much for me. I
The
don't.
character design is definitely like I love the character design of Art himself, but
So kids love them too. Like
Yeah.
I was oh my god, Sammy, I was literally you were reading my mind. I was gonna say the amount of children that Sammy and I
It's
have
the
met.
Pennywise effect. Just they fucking ogle at him, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay, man. I guess the clowns really do it for you, age group.
Dude, but there is a big difference between Pennywise and Art the Clown. Also,
There is.
I
Yeah.
agree.
There is.
I agree.
I was really afraid of torture porn for a long time, and I held off watching it. And then I finally, that said, I love the first Saw movie. And then I have
rules.
mixed feelings about the rest of the franchise. I like when Friar Fuck is on some
Who
of the
doesn't?
movies.
Sex and
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I have issues with it. But I finally watched Hostel and it was an accomplishment for me. I got through it because I didn't think I was going to. And that was about the only time I think I'll ever want to watch it again. Like, it's fine. I know I feel like torture porn is unfairly dismissed a lot of times. There
Yeah.
are movies that are good and it does have a lot to say. And I think when I think about torture porn as a genre, it's never going to be my first choice, but individual movies I think probably are good. So maybe I like
Yeah.
it more than I think I do. But what's weird is I fucking love French Extremity. You know, like
I know.
Yeah, well, it's just so interesting. It's so
I know.
I don't know. There's
it's just the
something
vibe.
about it.
Inside was
tone.
more effective for me than this was
Right?
as far as violence goes. This was
I just-
cartoony violence at times.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that French Extremity has more of a point than torture porn does because I don't necessarily think that's true. I think I like what French Extremity is doing more than I like what torture porn is doing. So
Agree.
that's
I feel like there's a lot of female directors there too.
I think so,
There's
too.
a touch of like our gender
stories
there
within them. Yeah. Mhm.
well,
I was gonna say
and-
maybe less of like a 2000s vibe too.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
for
I
sure.
actually just started working on a series for Bloody Disgusting about feminist French Extremity. So very excited. Just got to
And
write about
Yay.
Raw
hired the
again.
perfect
I know.
person for that. I want to say before we move on, there's no shame in shopping at Spencer's, okay?
That's true.
It's the type of person I am talking about here is like the one that has like, a shirt that says like my other car is your mom. Like that type of guy.
like jacking
okay?
off in the corner
Yes,
of
and,
Spencer's.
like that's like,
Yes.
oh, look at the dildos. Like I can't. So that is the type of person. If that's you, maybe this will serve as a wake up call for you, and you will change for the better.
Yeah.
But
Just
I
assess
want
your
you to know
situation. Torture
that
or
I
Spencer's
shopped
jack
at
offer.
Spencer's. We sell T-shirts at Bloody Disgusting at Spencer's. I have bought Twilight shirts from
I've got one.
Spencer's. I used to have one of those things that you put your finger on and it would shock you from Spencer's. Loved it.
I used to have one of those too. Yeah.
It's mostly, the Cookie Monster hats and that I'm not the biggest fan of. So I just wanted to clear that up before anyone came at me.
Before Big
I'm
Spencer's
sorry.
ca-
Yeah, Big
cancels it.
Before
Spencer's.
Spencer himself comes at you.
Spencer himself has you
He's pissed.
killed,
He'll be
has
wearing,
you
like, a
taken
Austin
away
Clown
to the
shirt.
hostel.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's like, you fucking hate Terrifier and Spencer's, you're a bitch.
Just your
Anyways.
face with like the number going up, but it's just Spencer.
Have you seen this
bidding
bitch?
on you?
Yeah. Oh God.
Woo.
Okay, so I'm sorry if I hurt any feelings, but yeah, if that's you, it's okay, but also maybe don't.
Yeah, exactly. There are other stores in the mall. You know?
There are so many
Yeah.
others. A hot topic is even better.
Exactly.
Next on, you got Zumiez. There's a few
Please.
choices.
Tilly's, go.
Orange Julius, are those still
And
things?
get yourself a snack.
Man,
Yeah, how
the
about go
last
to
time-
Cinnabon and go home afterwards?
I
That's-
personally love a Wetzel's pretzel. And
yeah.
I
hit
like to
that
smell
thing up
them.
every
I can't-
time.
I
Oh,
can't
I
eat the pretzels
inhale
anymore, but-
them. And they
There's
have a
a-
strawberry lemonade that's very good.
Ooh, there's one that in a little kiosk in my neighborhood mall, like the one in Nashville that's still acceptable, and it has like macarons in it, and it's like, ooh, this is
Ooh.
fancy.
Some fancy stuff.
I know,
Yeah.
so delicious, and I assume it's still there. I haven't been to the mall in probably over 2 years.
Kind of
but-
like you're in a European country, traveling
Exactly.
abroad. Get
and then it's right next to
exactly.
like the Panda Express and like
Yes.
the Sbarro.
It's
you
an
know?
international experience.
It's international.
Very international, yeah,
exactly.
international experience, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know who has an unfortunate international experience, not nearly as delightful as getting a macaron, is the women in this movie. So let's talk about them in our first category, her story.
I am so much happier now that I'm dead. Technically missing. Soon to be presumed dead. Gone. And my lazy, lying, cheating, oblivious husband will go to prison for my murder.
This is a section where we tell the story of the film. Spoilers abound, so listen at your own risk. The film opens with a nightmare. Paxton, star and sole survivor of the original Hostel, is hunted down and beheaded by a Slovakian mercenary on the orders of a scary businessman. And yes, that is capitalized because that is his name for me for the movie. Next, we skip to Italy, where Beth, Whitney, and Lorna are foreign exchange students taking an art class where they're sketching nude models. This is why
they
I was
are.
talking about dongs for equity, because they are drawing both men and women, and we love to see it.
Mhm.
This weekend, the girls are planning to take a train for a weekend adventure. Beth is clearly in love with Whitney, even though Whitney seems oblivious, and Lorna is sweet but a little annoying and naive. Beth felt sorry for her because she's really homesick and invited her along. On the train, the girls escape some creepy men and end up bumping into the female model Excel. Not the spreadsheet, the model. I'm going to try to say Axel.
Is it
One of
Axel?
the hottest women I've ever seen in my
Axel.
She's
life.
beautiful.
Seriously.
You know what? I probably would have been tricked off that.
I
fucking
would have
train
too. I thought this.
I
I was
mean,
like, Beth,
I can't. If
Yep.
that
Yeah.
woman was interested in me, and
Mhm.
I'd be-
massaging
well,
you in a
first-
bikini. Yeah.
Yep.
I
the
think
honeypot is
though,
honeypotting.
maybe I would immediately be like, no, there's no way this like that. I
Too
think
good
that
to
would
be
my-
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be my
Right?
first
This-
red
yeah,
flag. I'm
that's
like,
actually-
no,
actually
not
true,
me.
yeah. Wait
Yeah,
a
she has
not-
probably
wait a
tried to
minute.
hostile me.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no other reason this person would talk to me.
Yeah, but she does seem into them. She's kind of like friendly, flirtatious with Beth.
Yeah, she's definitely done this before. It's not her first
Oh,
rodeo.
yes, she knows what she's doing. She joins them in their train car and convinces the girls to go with her to Slovakia, where the hot springs are incredible. After checking into their hostel, they go to a harvest fest put on by the town. It's not nearly as delightful as it is on Parks and Rec. Meanwhile, across the world,
The Pawnee Harvest Festival.
I know.
Where you can meet Little Sebastian.
Little Sebastian.
I used to have a shirt that said I met Little Sebastian at the Pawnee Harvest Festival, and it had
Oh.
Little Sebastian on it. Yeah. So.
I like talk about a perfect season of television.
Now I have the
too.
song
so
stuck in my
good.
head. Oh my
Seriously,
god.
so
I know.
good.
10,000
It's,
Candles in the Wind. That's a good song.
Just a tear coming. It's so
R.I.P.
good.
Little
Yes.
Sebastian. By the
Yes.
way.
Pour one out.
Yeah. Well, across the world, the Elite Hunting Club is using the girls' ID info to run an elite auction for who gets to murder them. We see several bidders, but it's an asshole playing golf who wins Beth for, I think it's $60,000.
Man, I wish I would hope that I am worth more than that. Like,
I
would
know.
you be bummed if you found out how much God, that's so bleak. But like, if
I know.
you found out how much you were sold for, you just
Oh,
be
I
like,
know, right?
Clearly
Especially
these are
since she
people-
is super rich. Like,
Well, yeah, and these are people who
Yeah.
clearly don't value human life
Very
that,
true.
that
Very
much.
true.
So take it with
also
a grain
he's
of
from
salt.
Desperate Housewives, which made me kind of want to rewatch Desperate Housewives.
I've never watched it.
I've never
but
seen it
Jackie
either.
Zabrowski is doing it for a Patreon right now.
We should
and
do a
I've been
family
thinking
rewatch
about
of it, everybody. 'cause-
Yes. I'll
I'm
put that
down.
on.
I've never
After
seen
I
it.
finish Love on the Spectrum, I'm already on season 2.
Oh, Mike
guys,
already texted
so,
me about that. He's
yeah.
like, you guys, he said, you and those lady killers have us watching the craziest stuff. And I was like,
I'm learning
Just
a lot
wait.
about myself.
Just
You're
wait.
welcome. That's all I will say is this is an enlightening show for me because I am seeing a lot of myself within it, which I was not expecting. But yeah, so maybe we'll do Desperate Housewives after that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
So next we see Todd, who is the golf asshole, call his friend Stuart and convince him to come along on their murder vacation. At the Harvest Festival, Beth is vigilant. She keeps an eye on Whitney and makes Lorna promise not to take a boat ride with a man she just met seconds before at a party. But Lorna immediately breaks this promise like minutes later and sails off with this stranger. Once they arrive on the shore, she's immediately kidnapped by 2 additional men while her date laughs in her face. The next time we see Lorna, she's hanging upside down and nude over a tub lined with candles. A glamorous woman, also naked, walks in and lies underneath her before using a scythe. I think scythe?
Scythe?
I've always said Scythe.
Scythe?
I
Well,
always
we're
say
going to go with
scythe,
it.
but
Eve?
yeah.
I don't know.
Scythe? I think that's
Someone
right.
will let us know. Yeah.
I'm more
but-
worried about the scythe. Is it scythe or something? Anyways,
Scythe. Is the C
listeners,
silent?
let us
I don't
know.
know.
That's what
Words are
Spotify
hard
comments are
sometimes.
for.
Yes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes. So she uses a scythe to slice open Lorna's back. She bathes in her blood and then slits her throat.
I didn't have many notes for this episode for some reason. I got really into the movie.
I did
One
too.
of my notes, though, was what would my boobs look like if I was hanging upside down?
They'd be smacking me in the face. It would not.
I mean, mine like hurt, like it. That would feel just heavy, you know. Like I've definitely now. I feel like I'm gonna go on my bed later.
Just
and
I
Just
thought about it.
see?
I was like, should I hang off my couch and just feel like see what's going on there?
Just some
It made
sort
me so
of weird
curious.
I know the way
body
we're laid
dysmorphia,
down, though,
new
yeah.
hyperfixation.
We're
I
gonna.
need another thing to feel weird about. How do
Well,
my
we just
boobs
got to
look
start
like
boob
upside down?
maxing, ladies.
Boob maxing.
Yeah.
But you know when you lay down and they kind of just go like
They go, yeah.
oh
Yep.
It's like they're kind of going
Yeah.
So I imagine it's a little like that.
Hers looked
Yeah.
great
I was gonna
upside
question.
down.
I
But
know.
that's kind of
She
what
looked
made me
incredible.
wonder.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could I pull this look off?
I'm sure that was running through her head too
Oh,
as
yes.
it was happening.
It would have been
Mhm.
mine for sure. Yeah.
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 The next day, Beth and Whitney assume that Lorna had a successful hookup, but Whitney disappears at the hot springs, and Beth manages to escape some scary men from the club. Excel comes to her rescue and brings her to the scary businessman's mansion. When the scary men return, she realizes that Axel is in on the whole thing and tries to hide in a closet where she sees a line of preserved human heads. One of them is Paxton's.
One of them's Eli
Dun,
Roth. This is like
Oh,
frozen.
really?
Is it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I love trivia.
With the women both captured, Todd and Stewart's restaurant pagers go off and they get suited up. And that just felt like the egregious icing on the cake. You know,
That
like
was,
my table's
I was so
ready.
insulted by that. I was like, you
Yeah.
order me like a table at a restaurant?
Exactly.
Like,
Mhm.
You guys couldn't come up with anything else other than like the Chili's and Applebee's.
Yeah, no kidding.
process.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right?
but
Some sort of cool like Batman system, like
Yeah.
something.
But no,
No.
it's like, oh, yeah, my coffee's ready. Here we go.
Dinner
Yep.
is served.
Mhm.
Uh,
I mean,
that
we'll
one
talk
guy.
about
Yeah, one
I
guy,
mean,
yeah.
he
Do you know who
was
that
hungry.
guy is?
Which
The
He
cannibal
one?
was
guy.
like retirement, didn't he?
He did. It's
yeah.
Ruggero Deodato, who is the director of
Oh.
Cannibal
yes,
Holocaust.
that's right. I
That
did
makes
read that.
sense.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, which
Okay.
you know, I love entering the cannibal zone too. So
We
yes.
do. They're my favorite. Danger Zone.
Yeah,
Sequel.
highway to the cannibal zone.
Cannibal Zone.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we didn't go to the incest zone in this movie, so that
Thank
is
God.
good.
Hey,
because Sammy, while
we
you were
saw
away,
you
we
guys.
accidentally talked about incest.
0
I
days since the last
know.
incest incident. So good for us.
It. Gosh,
We do
damn
need a
it.
board. It has been
We
7
do.
days since you last talked about it.
Oh God.
Although I will
I know.
say, I talked about it on Losers Club last night. So.
Well, now I have FOMO. Like, God, I wasn't feeling left out until then.
Oh,
There will be more, I'm sure.
oh, I'm
I'm
sure.
I'm
Yeah.
sure of it.
It'll be
Keeps
back.
happening. Yeah. So Todd has bought Whitney and had her dressed up in lingerie and makeup. After some gross slut shaming, he tries to cut her with a circular saw, but it goes awry. Whitney is disfigured, and Todd seems to realize what he's about to do. I have to think that extension cord thing is the guards trying to fuck with him too.
That was
you know?
so funny. That was
I,
like
I, I
Looney
probably, if
Tunes
I worked
comedy.
here, like, I probably would too. I just
would
be
too,
like,
yeah,
you know what,
right?
these rich fucks. Like,
And I liked that because, especially considering the first one and what it's like to watch some of those sequences in the first one, it
Yeah.
really kind of took the air out of the room, you know, and just kind of let you breathe for a minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
I realize those metaphors kind of probably clash with it, but you know what I mean. It's
I
like
knew,
just
yes,
a nice little reprieve for just a second.
yes.
So Todd storms out, but the guards tell him it's against his contract to leave without finishing. While he cries in the elevator, the club's dogs rip him to shreds. Every time I say the club, my brain says the club. It's not that kind of club. It's the Elite
In the
Hunting
club, we're all
Factory
getting
Club.
mauled by
Oh,
dogs.
yeah,
Everybody in the club. Meanwhile, Stewart presents himself as a rescuer to the terrified Beth until we realize that she's specifically been bought because she looks like his wife, and he's not allowed to kill his wife. Beth seduces Stewart and gets him to let her out of the torture chair, where she turns the tables on him and demands the code for the door, and it's her birthday. Yuck. As the guards rush in, Beth holds Stewart's dick and a pair of gardening shears and demands to buy her way out. She's ultra wealthy. I forgot to mention that earlier. And scary businessman arrives to make a deal. The catch is she can't just pay. She has to kill someone too. But when Stewart calls Beth a cunt, she snips his dick off and tosses it to the dogs. He'll bleed to death, meaning she's fulfilled the club's terms. She gets her tattoo and walks away. Later, we see a group of misfit kids at the Harvest Festival. They steal Axel's purse, but it's a trap, leading her to a hooded Beth who chops her head off with an axe. The film ends with the bubblegum gang kicking it around like a soccer ball and some upbeat
It's
music.
so sick.
Yeah,
I
it
loved
is.
it.
Mhm. Okay, so what is our story with Hostel Part 2? Sammy, you suggested this on Mike's suggestion, right?
Yes, because listeners, we were supposed to do Society, but it's not available to stream anywhere, and none of us could find it except our Rachel here, who has
Who
all
has
of
it?
her
Yeah.
all of her
Sorry.
physical media. And
But we
it
will
could just
cover it eventually, we
yes,
promise.
one of these days, one of the streaming networks is going to pick it back up,
Yep.
okay, and get the rights to it, and then we will do
Mhm.
it. But I frantically asked Mike, not actually really frantically, I was pretty stoned and just sat there like, what movie should we do? Was like, oh, we're doing Eat the Rich Month, and then he like Googled it and he went through a bunch of titles, and I was like, no, I don't want that one. No, we've done that one. And then he said this one, and I had no idea that it was even like about women. And then he was like, I think Jen really likes it too. And I was like, oh, okay, well, because I wasn't expecting that, honestly.
Right.
I wasn't expecting to hear the words like Jen likes the Hostel movie.
Right.
So that
Fair.
definitely piqued my interest. And I'm really glad that we got to cover it because I had a lot of fun with it. So I said that I had seen the first one, or I had not seen the first one. We were talking last night. But that's not true, Ellen, because I have like 8 years ago, and I remember that I always mix up the beginning with Eurotrip because they're very similar.
Fair.
And I loved Eurotrip as a kid. And
Me
and I
too.
also think that this movie was playing. I had a stepbrother at one point, and this is very like stepbrother movie. I don't know if that also rings a bell. Like the Xbox 360, and then like Hostel 2 and Eurotrip is on the
You're
DVD
describing
stand.
my little brother. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I definitely seen it like on screens throughout my life, but this one just kind of went over my head. Um, and I felt like, I don't remember outwardly hating it. I just think I was sort of indifferent to it. And I think that's why I didn't remember watching it like 8 years ago with Mike. Like, oh, okay, yeah, dumb guys getting killed, but because they followed their dicks instead of their minds, like type of thing. They aren't really root like for characters, I feel like. And then here he kind of spins it and gives us these three characters who are actually all really cool and well written that I wasn't expecting in any way, shape, or form. And I feel like Lorna in particular, I just felt was so sweet and innocent. And I'm a huge fan of the Princess Diaries films. And so she's in that. And then I actually recently watched Welcome to the Dollhouse, which I really loved. And I would love for us to cover one day. It's definitely a intense movie, but I really, really enjoyed it. And so I was super stoked to see her here. And I just wasn't expecting this to be so girl power, coded. Like I said, like I was sort of expecting, a Damien Leone kind of a la Terrifier type kills just for the sake of killing women. But I saw Roth said on like commentaries for the film, like he knew he had to like film it differently because it was going to have female protagonists, and the way he develops these women made it, pack a different quote emotional punch when terrible things happen to them, that I hadn't really seen from him before. And I will say, as I was kind of talking about, I think off mic again, for whatever reason, lately I've been consuming a lot of content about tourists getting like abused or killed overseas. The last episode I had suggested the Netflix docuseries on the Predator of Sevilla, which was incredible.
That's right.
I
You
still
texted
highly
about
suggest
that. I
it.
still need to watch
It's
that.
really
Yes.
good. And he got out and like people like started Facebook page other women that he had like done this to. It's insane. Like it's one of the more intense stories I have ever heard. And I was like crying by the end of that docuseries. And then I also watched another one like a couple of weeks before that called Missing, the Lucy Blackman case, which was about a European, she was like a stewardess in Japan, and the serial killer basically like kidnapped all of these stewardess over this like really elongated period of time. And that one like genuinely sent a shiver down my spine. It's like pretty, he reminds me of the bad guy from Perfect Blue. It's pretty rough. So when I was watching this, I was like, man, I really don't want to travel anytime soon to anywhere, I think. And I don't want to like, I don't want these movies to like prevent me from doing things like that, but I definitely will think twice before walking off with someone that I don't know.
Yeah. Or taking a boat ride,
Yes, exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Rachel, what's your story with Hostel Part 2?
Great question. I thought I had seen this. And then as I'm watching it, I'm like, you know what? I don't think I've seen this. And this is one of those cases where I knew about the Madame Bathory scene
Yes.
that I know we'll talk about, but I don't think I'd seen anything else outside of that because I did see the first Hostel in theaters. And I think it's just one of those that's like, whenever I see these, I'm like, I'm not sure that sounds like my particular kind of good
Yeah.
time. So I never choose to necessarily watch them, but there are, this being one of them, multiple examples where once I do, I'm like, oh, no, no, no. Okay. There is something here. There can be fun found in this. It has something more to offer than just the
Yes.
acts of violence themselves, which I found to be so fascinating. Um, Especially too, I think, as I've gotten older and we've learned things, the less inclined I am to necessarily want to immediately sign up to watch an Eli Roth production.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's the other part of it.
That is
Yes.
Yeah,
So just
valid.
full
Yeah.
Like a dark
disclosure.
cloud
Yes.
hanging over
Yeah.
everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, hey,
just,
man, I love
we're
Thanksgiving,
aware.
but
Yeah.
like it's
And so I was
valid.
really curious because I'm like, how is Eli Roth, knowing what we know, gonna handle this movie in particular with these female lead characters? However, I will say this. I was pleasantly surprised. I think this movie, I think he really struck a good balance of humor, like you were saying, was hyper aware of the connotations and associations and everything that having these female characters at the forefront can bring to a movie like this. And I do think, honestly, if I don't have to give him credit, but I will for this. Just knowing the genre so well in the history of the genre, I think was really aware and cognizant of that.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of fun with this. And if I had to, I guess I'll have to watch the other one to have an honest conclusion to this whole thing. But if I had to recommend a Hostel movie to anybody, I think it would be this one moving
Yeah.
forward for sure. Yeah.
It's interesting because if you had told me that the one where women are victims was the second Hostel film, I would not have
That's what's
believed
so
you.
surprising. Yeah.
It feels like the twist should be that the men are the victims,
Mhm.
So I agree with you. I do give him a little bit of credit. Like he showed some restraint here. And it's actually not that violent, I think
Really
it's
not.
Really, it's like the
thank you.
reputation kind
I
of
was
precedes
shocked
it.
at how
I'm so
deep it
glad we all
was.
agree on that front because at a certain point I was like, is something wrong with me? Like
Yeah.
I
No.
was
Well, if there
But
is
just
a decent
like,
stuff.
It's with
wrong
all of
with all
us.
of us.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
how we
God.
found each other, maybe. I don't
That's
know.
true.
Comment
I was
down
like
below.
waiting for the big because but that just sounds so jaded because it's like obviously we watch so many horror movies, like it does
Yeah.
take a lot, and there was
Yeah.
definitely like there's smaller stuff that definitely has made me like that wouldn't make someone cringe, but like
Yeah.
there was really nothing in this movie that I was like I can't watch,
Well, especially compared to the first one, because
Yeah.
the first one feels like it's about the special effects and it's about like lingering on the violence there. And that's part of the issue I have with it is just some
Yeah.
of the scenes of violence. But, here it does feel like the violence is for like it's purposeful, Shelby, what about you? Was this a first watch for you?
Yes, first watch for me. First Hostel movie. I have not.
Oh,
I
that's
still
right.
have not seen the first one. And it's one of those like I feel like actually if I go see it, if I sit down and watch it, I might be like, oh wait, I have seen this because
It's that
it's just
type of
been
movie.
around for
Yes.
so long. But I just cannot. I can't remember it enough. And the pieces I remember, I'm like, am I remembering just because those clips have been around for forever?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, this was my first watch for this. Pleasantly surprised at the story and everything. And I wanted to say I agree with all of you what you said up top where like I do think that torture porn has its place in horror. I respect the genre. And I do feel like during this time, during the aughts, there was kind of it was very easily glazed over where it's just like, oh, this is torture porn. This is torture porn. This is, like a lot of movies that were coming out were just kind of written off as torture porn. And I like this movie is such a testament to like you can't just write off movies. Like the story was really interesting, it was really interesting. So yeah, I don't know. This is my first watch and I'm very excited to talk about it.
I'm so glad we all liked it. Mike, you did a good job.
Yes. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
And this was not my first watch. This was my second watch. And I watched it last year for Murder Made Fiction because we were covering Elizabeth Bathory. So if you want to hear more about how this connects with the story of Elizabeth Bathory, that episode is available on Murder Made Fiction. Everybody go listen to it because I just I'm obsessed with that story. She is awful, but so cool, and we'll
Love
talk
the
about
American
it.
Horror Story season with her too. I mean, it's
We
just
covered that
interesting. Yeah.
season too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
it
whether or not
is.
her uncle made the whole thing up to get her land.
Exactly.
I'm
I
obsessed
Yes.
with
didn't know
And
that.
There's
yeah,
a
you gotta
there's
go
a
down that rabbit hole.
maybe,
Sammy.
possibly it's all made up by her uncle who wanted to take all of her land because she was a
Fucking
landowning woman. Yeah.
yes. Now, okay, here's what I think after reading a book about it. I think that both of those things are true. I think that
I
she
do too.
did torture
Okay,
people
I do
and her
too.
uncle made it. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Not as
I've
not
never
like
heard
hundreds
someone
of
say
people.
they
though.
agree with
Love
like
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
like she was not like a heroine who was like falsely accused. She was bad,
Yeah, I think
but
she was
a lot
bad,
of men
and
were doing a
I
lot
think
of
the whole
bad shit
family was
too.
shit, and they all had
Yes.
their,
It's
Kind of like the Lizzie
aristocracy,
Borden thing too, where it's like
Yeah.
I feel that like that's a two things can be true type of
Exactly.
situation, and,
Yeah.
and we know how I feel about that.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
one of my
yeah.
favorite things.
Well, I had the two movies that I had always kind of said for a long time I don't want to watch were Martyrs and Hostel. And then on an earlier pod, I finally watched Hostel. And I had a friend, Patrick, who kept telling me, I think you'll like Hostel too. I think you're going to like this one. And I was like, okay, whatever. I still don't want to watch it. And when Joe suggested we watch this for Lady Bathory, it's like, okay, well, I love her, so I'll do it. But I was not really excited about it. And I was so surprised by how much I really enjoyed this, how much there is. Like I keep wanting to say how much meat on the bone there is
It's true
too, which
though.
it feels weird to say about this movie, but like there's a lot here, and it
yeah.
feels, especially considering some things that happened in that first movie that I just don't necessarily love. I don't really like the way it ends. And I don't really like the way some women are presented in that movie. And this just feels like such a big shift from that. And I was so surprised. So, yeah, really excited to talk about this one. And yes, I'm going to nerd out about Elizabeth Bathory a little bit. But let's talk about her parallel in our next category. Who is she?
I just wish we could all get along like we used to in middle school. I wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles and we'd all eat it, be happy.
She doesn't even go here.
Do you even go to this school?
Okay, and just in case you thought we were stretching that comparison to Elizabeth Bathory or Elizabeth Bathory, I think is how you're supposed to say it, the character is actually called Mrs. Bathory. So this is like directly inspired. And Mrs. Bathory is played by Monica Malikova. And one of the things I really love about her is she is in the movie for like 5 minutes. But that is the enduring image of
Yes.
this movie. That is, in a lot of ways, it's kind of an enduring image. Well, and more so Heather Matarazzo in this scene, but like of torture porn itself. I think when people think
She
of
has the
Hostel,
hardest death.
oh,
Like
absolutely,
by far.
yes, to film and experience.
Yes,
So, yeah.
yes.
And we'll talk about it for sure. Then we also have Axel, who's played by Vera Jordanova. Inya, and she's the blonde facilitator lady. She's played by Zuzana Geislerova. I think I said that right. And then Beth, who is Lauren German. And I didn't have her on the list till the very end because I kind of forgot exactly how everything goes out. But man, any girl who cuts a dick off is got
We
a
love
place
it.
on my list.
Yes.
Okay, our victims, many victims, but from our cast, we have Lorna Whitney. I'm going to put Beth on that list because she certainly goes through some shit. Todd Stewart, and then Axel also. And then our motive, misogyny, capitalism, we shall discuss. And our weapons. I think I got everything here, but let me check. Okay, Axel is definitely a weapon. A scythe. See, that's how I think you say it. A scythe.
Scythe.
Yeah.
That's how I say it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I
Scythe.
think
Okay.
so.
Well,
We got it.
listeners, let us. Hey, big Merriam-Webster. Which,
Steve.
side note, Merriam-Webster is a fantastic follow on Instagram. They are really funny. So
They
Oh,
are.
I
They're
thought you
so
were
much
gonna
fun.
say. I was like, this person is alive.
Oh no!
Like,
She's
I mean, I'm
still
sure there
kicking.
probably
Yeah.
is a Webster that's still kicking, but yeah, that's
not the original.
Oh, you know what? There's one more
Miriam.
victim. There's the little kid who gets.
that's right.
Oh, that's
I
right.
looked
That was
away at
sad.
that point.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember which one it is that the one of the bubblegum gang gets killed. And it might be both, but yeah. Ugh. Ugh, poor kids. Okay, so dogs, teeth, the cannibal guy who is Ruggero Deodato. I may be saying that wrong too, but I don't know.
We do our
and-
best over here.
Exactly. Yeah. A circular saw, a chain, a needle, gardening shears, and an axe. And money. I'm going to say money is a weapon here, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Manipulation,
Mhm.
Yes.
lies.
Ooh,
Bitches.
Bitches.
Hot broads.
Yeah.
yes.
Your just sexuality is a weapon.
Yeah.
Well, I had honeypots here because I thought that the guy Whitney was hooking up with was a male honeypot, but I think he's the guy that gets eaten, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
What's
so.
a honeypot?
A honeypot?
trap.
Yeah, a trap. Like that's like a spy
Oh.
term
Person
for
trap.
like the
Yeah.
hot lady that lures you to the hotel
Ooh.
room. Yeah.
Okay. Like something in a Bond movie.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I got it now. Thanks, guys.
Part of me was like, does
was
it
Pooh
feel
Bear
weird
here?
to
Yeah.
say it's not? Oh yes, not Pooh Bear. It's
I was
no.
like a real honeypot. So I must have missed
I
that
mean,
part.
now just like rubbing my belly, eating
I
honey.
know.
You know?
I get a poo belly every once in a while. And I
Woo,
just mean
yeah.
like a crop top and a belly sticking out.
Oh
Like,
yes,
you know.
we yeah.
Not an actual poo belly.
Oh. Okay. Well, I want to talk about a couple of quotes. I normally don't do this, but I couldn't figure out how to like write these things down. So I want to talk about this I Make Pretty, the scene where the woman is putting makeup on Whitney. And then the fact that once Whitney is essentially scalped and her face is marred, she's offered at a discount here too. And the way these women are dressed. Now, we're going to talk about Todd and Stewart, but they have specifically requested these outfits, I assume. And Todd wants Whitney in lingerie, and Stewart wants Beth to look like his wife. Again, we're going to talk about that whole wife thing later, but they have specifically chosen what they want them to look like. And from what I remember, that does not happen in the first movie. I don't think it's more like a caricature or a character, you know? So I want to ask, how do we think it changes the tone to put women in the victim role as opposed to in the original Hostel where it's mostly men? I will say there is a female victim in Hostel, nobody at me, but the focal point is these American men. Rachel, what do you think?
I mean, I think it completely changes the tone. And I think that's just the world we live in. Because historically, women have been second tier citizens across the board. And this is something, unfortunately, we are just accustomed to seeing on our screens. Like we were talking about, like you see, and it's something that the horror genre, I think, has wrestled with for a long time. Like Wes Craven always talked about how he didn't necessarily want to do horror a lot because he found it to be misogynistic and he didn't want to sort of continue to doing those tropes. And like it was something he wrestled with as a creator. Like, is this something that I want to continue, playing in this sandbox? Like, I don't agree with this. And is this something I want to do? Obviously, he was able to work around that, and I think came to a good place with that. But I know early on in his career, it was something he's talked about kind of just struggling with. And I think that's fair and that's valid. And I mean, real world scenario too, you guys, like, I don't know if you've noticed, but like our most listened to episode or whatever on YouTube is I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah.
Like 3 times.
I know.
And it's like, what, that's just the world. Like, that's very like,
And it doesn't even have any
Thank you.
video.
It's not a video episode either.
Thank
Yeah.
you for your clicks. Thank you for all of that. Thank you for your engagement. But also, like, what the fuck?
Like, what's going on?
It's like by like the hundreds. Like,
Yeah.
some of ours
yeah.
are nowhere near it. And I'm
No,
like,
this
who
is over.
keeps
It's over
clicking on this
1,000.
video?
It's over
Yeah.
1,000, and
It
it's
might
like
solely get us to monetization.
Yes.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I think like that right there is like
Totally.
the smallest little nugget and like hint about like why it's different to see women in this role than men. And on the flip side, I think, because men are not necessarily always the victims, especially in this way, for them to be young American men who by, a lot of standards and stuff are kind of like the pinnacle of strength and desirability and power in the world and everything, to have them in this role, I think just is saying something a little bit different, where having women in this role is kind of leaning into those ideas and tropes and genre sort of things, sentiments more often, and commenting on all of that just in a different way. However, what I think that Roth is doing in this is intentionally leaning into that and subverting that and playing with that. And I think that's what makes this film actually so interesting and fun to watch and fun to talk about, because he's aware of that. It's not just to put women in this role to mess with them and torture them and take out all these, I don't know, pent up feeling. I mean, the characters, that's separate, but overall, like what the film is trying to say, I think it's playing with that idea in a really actually thoughtful, intelligent way. And in the same way the first one is. And I think it's a little bit more uncomfortable. We're not used to seeing our quote unquote men messed with and in that position, literally in those positions, being tortured and torn apart and being taken advantage of in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. Sammy, what do you think?
I think this one, it makes us uncomfy because like this one explores more of the flesh for fantasy narrative, I think, through the lens of women's vulnerability. And I think that's ultimately why I find this film to be like a feminist revenge text. Because like the other one is like, again, the guys are kind of, following their dicks. The guys are being guys. Like they're not really likable characters either. You're not really like, you're there to just see them get killed. You're not rooting for them really or anything like, and I feel like he definitely made a point to make you root for these characters. Like, say what you will about Tarantino, but I do think he writes a pretty great female character, surprisingly. And I do feel that he like took a page from him a little bit with this. This feels very Death Proof-esque kind of to me, and I even think they would make like a good double feature kind of, but I did want to share here for the scenes in the brothel that they visit, Eli Roth was keen to film at a genuine brothel in Prague.
I'm sure he was.
And I'm sure he was. And eventually they decided on a place called, quote, Big Sister. It was famous for offering customers no charge.
Which that name alone is like,
I know,
disgusting.
like, and it was no charge for sex with prostitutes, which would normally include, like, according to this factoid, fellatio and vaginal sex, as well as kissing and licking, as long as the men wore a condom and agreed to live internet stream their activities, which were viewed by paying subscribers.
Okay.
So on the solo DVD commentary, Ross suggested Hostel fans should subscribe to the Big Sister website and watch the videos.
Of course he did.
And the brothel closed in 2010. The website is no longer active, but several videos from the place are available online for free. And I thought I would also take this section to tell us the inspiration behind the Hostel movies.
Please do.
I'm so sorry, everyone. This doesn't involve it involves someone that is not a great guy, but at the very least, like, he's not actively promoting this thing. So here goes. Hostel's plot may sound too absurd to be true, but the true story behind this movie is as shocking as the film. However, in an interview with Dread Central, Roth revealed that the idea behind the film's script emerged from a conversation with Harry Knowles from Ain't It Cool News. And if you don't know who that is, you are lucky.
Very young.
Keep going.
You're a lucky girl. Yeah.
Keep living your life right.
Yes, just keep on keeping on. Don't go down that rabbit hole.
No.
But the two were talking about the creepy things they'd seen on the internet when Knowles mentioned a Thai website that advertised the opportunity to shoot a stranger in the head for $10,000. Sure enough, the website was there. Far from being loud and flashy, typical of the 2000s aesthetic, the website went straight to the point, further adding to its authenticity and eeriness. It went into elaborate details about the arrangement with the victims. The website claimed that the victims willingly signed up to get murdered, since a portion of the money would go to their families. Because that's capitalism, baby. And according to the website, these people were so poor that they were on the verge of death anyways. And the service was supposed to provide individuals with the thrill of taking someone's life without having to face any legal or moral repercussions. Such thrill acts as the foundations of Hostel. Roth and Knowles briefly pondered upon the website's credibility, and Roth proposed that it was probably genuine, given humanity's constant obsession with brutality as a form of entertainment. But after a while, Roth concluded that it didn't matter if the website was authentic. The fact that someone had a mind twisted enough to conjure such a sadistic website was sufficient enough to run Roth's imagination wild. The auteur director pictured people who have been so desensitized by sex, drugs, and money that nothing thrilled them anymore, and he claimed he knew such people, and I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he does.
He said they got all these things and they're just numb. They want to walk into a room and just kill someone without any consequences. At one point, Roth considered making a documentary out of the website, but to learn more about their, quote, service, Roth had to provide them with his credit card details, and he wasn't too keen on handing out his personal information to people who, what? Kill for a living. And even if the killing bit was fake, there was a high chance that they'd run off with his credit card. And so the idea was shaped into the movie that shocked a generation of moviegoers, making tourists think twice before settling into budget accommodations. Boom.
Yep.
So there you guys go.
And that's when they invented Bitcoin too.
Yes,
So,
yes. I mean, there is like a whole, I mean, I've listened to like different podcasts of people who like go online and they meet people and they like to eat them and they're like, oh, they're like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, they like there was one in Europe where like they actually did it, like, and
Oh yeah,
I
last podcast. Listen
yes,
to,
they
they talk
covered
about
it. Yes,
Yep.
yeah, that one was a trip. So, as I
Ugh.
said you guys off air, I quite literally finished the movie and just typed into Google like, did Hostel happen? And that's what I got. And I'm sure it
Yeah.
happens even more that we just don't know about.
That's the thing. I just wrote a thing about snuff films because of
You did,
Faces of
yeah.
Death that
Did,
just came
yes.
out. Yeah. And I think officially we have never found an actual snuff film. If you are going by the definition that a snuff film has to be specifically created for profit and entertainment. But the idea that nobody is doing that is just kind of, I think, kind of
Well,
naive.
far-fetched to me.
You know,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
naive. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the same here. I would like to think that these things aren't actually happening, but I just it's like there's got to be aliens out there too.
It's
This
the dark
universe is just too
web.
big. Exactly.
Called the
And
dark web for a reason.
I'm
If
sure we'll
people
cover
want
red
to
rooms
eat
at
each
some
other,
point.
then
Yeah.
I have
Oh, I
no
love
doubt
red
people
rooms.
also want to pay money to kill each other. So
Exactly.
it's-
Yeah. And
it's-
it's just
there's
it's
no
upsetting.
there's no top to our I feel like depravity sometimes. a
Yeah,
little
the
bit
bar
as
is
a
in hell.
species. Yeah.
Yes. Shelby, what do you think about putting women in these roles?
Um, so I thought it was really, it's not just putting women in the roles, but the way it was done. We
Yeah.
find out our heroine is like, she has more money than all of these people, which is
Mm-hmm.
so fascinating to do. And I actually, for some reason, did not see how that was going to come into play later when Bijou Phillips is like, she could buy Slovakia and this and that. And I
know,
was
I
like,
didn't
oh,
either.
that's some fun little character development. Like, but
Yeah.
then it was
And
like,
she got it
when
from her mom too.
and she
That's
got it
what
from
I
her
love.
mom. She got it from her
Mhm.
mom. The fact that it like
Matriarchy.
explicitly says she gives her dad an allowance, like it was like layers upon layers of misogyny and also feminism, and like it. They didn't just throw women in, like they didn't just
Yeah.
throw a bunch like three bimbos into these roles or like into these parts. Like I love that they all have. I mean, even Heather Matarazzo's character, where it's like she's homesick and she's not drinking for the most part. It's like the one time she's like, I am going to let loose because I'm in Europe. You know, it's
Mhm.
not, these aren't irresponsible. Well, we could argue for Whitney, but like, these aren't like irresponsible women, and they're not stupid. They're in school. Like, they're really interesting types of women to put into these roles as victims, because they're not from like, when I think of like torture porn and vis-a-vis like a woman in the tortured person's role, like that's not what I think of. This is not
Yeah.
at all, like I was so pleasantly surprised by this movie. And I think it is like, it does make them it does play in the misogyny though, because they are like, I feel like a lot of this population does even feel worse because they're not like whore bimbos like who are
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
what's, it's like I feel
Mhm.
like that was part of it too. And it's like holding up a mirror a little bit to the audience
Yeah.
who loved the first Hostel, who was like,
Yes.
yes, this one's got bitches in it,
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
and they went in and it was like, oh,
Oh, we care about them. Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this one is really condemning that kind of misogyny, you know,
Yeah.
because Todd and Stewart, like we're going to talk
Todd and
about them.
Stewart are
the
brilliantly
villains.
written male characters for the
Seriously.
two different flipped sides of misogyny. Like I just
Absolutely. Yeah.
love it. I know we'll get into it, but like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and that to me is what makes the difference. And it has been a while. It's been years since I've watched the original Hostel, so if I'm forgetting some things, but I think the difference that I see here, I just read this essay about the female gaze versus the male gaze, and I feel like this movie is really just using the female gaze here, and I see a lot of male gaze in the first movie. And okay, so if you're not familiar, and let's see if I can actually summarize it, because for a long time this has just been kind of like vibes for me, like it's one of those when you see it kind of things. But the male gaze is looking at mostly women, but we can look at men through the male gaze too, as products, as like
Objectifying.
like consumable products. And I do think we see that with the women in the first movie. I'm specifically thinking about the female victim who is in that torture chamber too, and just her arc and what we learn about her. Like she just kind of is an object for the killers and for the film itself,
Yeah.
which is part of the reason I don't really like it, you know? And here, the female gaze is about empathizing and putting yourself in the shoes of these women. Like none of that, we don't see nudity with any of them except for Lorna,
when she's
which,
dying.
yeah, which I
Which
think
is
we're going to
an
talk about.
interesting one to
And
give
it's
the
with a
nudity
woman.
to.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
she's the
exactly.
least
It's with a woman. It's the
sexualized
most, yeah, it's
Yeah.
the
up to
virgin
that
who
point.
gets, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's especially compared to like the honeypots in the first one. It's just like it's so much more employing the female gaze and really condemning, I think, the male gaze, because that's what Stewart and Todd are trying to do here is they're trying to create these consumable women that they can slaughter to fulfill their misogynist needs. And I think the
Totally.
film is pointing at them as the villains, and they are the ones who die horribly here. I mean, Lorna and Whitney do too, but the focus, like they are presented as the victims here, whereas
Yeah.
Todd and Stewart they're not victims at all. They got themselves into
It's
this.
almost like it's like forcing, when guys like all of a sudden become super feminist after they have a daughter,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
it's like this movie is kind of like forcing men into that line of thinking without even having a daughter. Cause
Yeah.
like you said, I do think they were going into this movie expecting Paris Hilton and House of Wax,
Yes.
like type of
Yes.
female characters. And instead it's like, oh, women are people too. Like that's
Right.
that's what the film is forcing them to do. And
Yeah.
so I don't think it was received as well because it wasn't. We know that it was not
Mhm.
nearly as popular as the first one. People don't like the guys didn't like this movie because especially the
It's
dick,
holding
scene.
a mirror
It's
to
holding
them.
a mirror to
dick.
them.
They
Yes,
have two
and
dicks, and one of them gets cut
Mhm.
off. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
none of the bitches are bitches,
Right.
So it's hard for them to digest that. And I didn't really even think about that until I like again, like it's crazy to say this about the director that we're talking about. Because I
Yes.
just never thought I would it- give that type of compliment to him, I guess,
No.
is
Yeah.
what I am thinking.
No, I know what you mean. And I think, again, we keep saying it, but like he's not a perfect person and we're not defending him. But I do think he got a lot of feedback from that first one because
Yeah.
I think the first one was he was not considering these things. He was like,
Mhm.
I don't think he went out to say, "Ooh, bitches, let's kill them." That's not what that movie is about. But I
Mhm.
also don't think he was looking out for that. I think
Totally.
he made that movie with the male gaze, and I
Mhm.
think here he specifically was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I have to do it better. And that's what we want, even from people who continue to make mistakes. Like we want that kind of self-reflection. We
Yeah.
want the next time to be a little bit better. So
I think another thing like I like about it is it calls out how like none of these women are really doing anything wrong per se. Like I appreciate how it shows the world that
Yep.
these women are living in and makes a point to kind of show that hypervigilance that everybody has to live in, and how even when Lorna it's like she's so sweet in the way that they set her up. You can see why she would be flattered by this guy like taking a notice in her, and how she's kind of believing what he's telling her. And yes, she's naive, but it's also sweet. And you look at him and it's like, okay, you can see how she could kind of buy into this. And then even Whitney, maybe she's not in the best state of mind. She's having fun. She's enjoying herself making out with this guy, but she knows that Beth has her back and is kind of, even if she's like going a little, wild and maybe not making the best decisions, she knows she can trust her friend to keep an eye on her. And not saying that's like the best choice necessarily, but like understandable.
Yeah.
And then just to see how Beth continually is making smart decisions, saying the right things, being smart about things, not engaging in the right things, but also not, really pissing anybody off necessarily. Like she's playing all of the cards correctly, and still they all get fucked in different ways. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of showing how you can never really win. And so I do appreciate that this is in there. And I think you're right. It's showing people maybe not what they want to see, and maybe that's why certain sector of people were like, this isn't the movie I wanted to watch, because you're making me feel bad for them. You're making me feel like, wait, they didn't do anything wrong. It's like they didn't do anything
They
wrong.
did it, and they show her do the two different reactions that could be criticized by people who like to criticize women. They show her blowing up at the original drug dealer guys, and it's like you could be like, well, you shouldn't do that because you're asking to be like blah blah blah. But then they show her be really nice to fucking what's his face, Todd, and like so it's like, well, which one? Like none of them work,
Yeah,
It doesn't
and that's
matter.
the point. Is because it doesn't matter.
If
Because
it's gonna
it's not
happen, it's gonna
her choice.
happen.
Exactly. And the mistake is on the men and the company.
It's never. It's not their fault.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It reminds me of the beginning of Urban Legend, where it's like her instincts to avoid, like, we know Brad Dourif can do no wrong and is wonderful, but she feels uncomfortable in that moment, and she should be able to leave that gas station and not be punished for it. But she is, it's one of those things. And there's even that moment with the truck driver guy where he's like, I try to help you, you don't listen. And it does feel like we're kind of approaching, like, are we trying to blame them for their actions? But yeah, I do love that the only thing they could have done is just not been there in the first place. And we should be able to travel the world if we want to, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we are going to virtually travel the world because I think we'll just feel a little safer after watching this. We are going to get in a train car because I just keep talking about Sex in the City. I think it would be fun to ride on a train, although after watching that episode where they are on the train, it doesn't sound that fun. But yeah, we're going to get in a train and we're going to get in Loser. We're going killing.
This woman will soon cut, chop, break, and burn 5 men beyond recognition. And there isn't a jury in this country that will convict her.
Okay, so let's dig into the details. Let's talk about Lorna and Mrs. Bathory. So I said that the scene was directly inspired by the story of Elizabeth Bathory. It's very interesting. We don't know if she actually did this, if she actually bathed in blood. That's probably a rumor. It was probably created to make her seem even more villainous. And personally, I think that a lot of because the first reports of that didn't happen for like 100 years after she died.
Yeah, for way
Yeah.
later.
I mean, she was the OG, okay?
She could. Okay, look, here's the thing. We don't know, you know, and
Mhm.
like the people that we've gotten this documentation from, none of them are reliable.
Yes.
My theory is that her last name is Bathory, and they're like, what if she was in a bathtub
Taking a
of blood?
bath,
You know,
yeah.
we're gonna villainize women in creative ways, and sometimes those are not as smart. But I also think there's just something so fascinating about that image of an older woman bathing in the blood of young virgins. Like, we don't ever really know if Lorna is a virgin, but that's kind of the implication
Yes.
here. So, Shelby, I know you're a history nut like I am. What do you think this scene has to say about Mrs. Bathory, about who she is and what she wants?
I really appreciated it because this is another thing I loved about the balance of this film is it did show a female villain in such a I don't know, in such an interesting light. Like clearly this woman, I would think in my mind I was like she's a fan of Elizabeth Bathory or Elizabeth Bathory.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was like inspired by this. I mean, I remember speaking of like Spencer's and Hot Topic, I remember they would always sell little statues of Elizabeth Bathory in like a little bath. That was
Really?
like a thing for a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I remember seeing them there. And like it was like, I don't know, around this time. So this would be around this time where like it was kind of like that story came into fashion in like an edgelord girl way. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I'm
Yeah.
sure Mr. Roth has been around his share of edgelord ladies. And so like I just feel like this was something where it's like, hey, girls can be assholes and villains too in like a very specific way. And it's not again once again, it's not in the way that we would like think. She didn't come in like I don't know, like an evil bitch way. She came in like she was very elegant. She didn't
Yeah.
say much.
Aristocratic.
Yeah, it's very aristocratic. It almost like if you had changed a few set dressings in that scene, it could have been from a period piece, you know?
Yeah,
It
totally.
was-
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Mhm.
which is one thing I loved about it. And it did feel like this woman was almost living out like her historical fiction fantasies. Like she reads a lot of
Yes.
historical fiction and romance and is
She's
like
super into bookstagram. She loves enemies to
exactly.
lovers.
See, if she was around right now, yeah, she would be on Book Talk and she would have her own thing. Yeah. And like I just feel like it says a lot about what the difference between the women buying these women and the men buying the women and what they
Mhm.
do with it. I mean, it's not just women. We do even see the male victims in, you know, in the dungeon torture chambers, whatever you would call them. I always want to call them the hostels, but that's not the hostel.
Yeah.
They're not
No,
the
that's
hostel.
the factory, I think, is
Yeah,
what it's
the
technically
factory.
called. But, yeah.
But I feel like this is how a woman in this world, and we've kind of been digesting lately what women in this world do and what their
Yeah,
role
yeah.
is and how they partake in this particular brand of torture. And it's interesting that Eli Roth said he knows people like this, which again, totally believe, because it does seem like okay, they're treating it a little differently the way this woman is treating this what you get with your lady special, and it is to preserve youth. It's to feel a power over a younger woman. It's I don't want to like throw women under the bus, but whenever you do experience a woman in power who is like threatened by you, like I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of
Oh
women
God,
have
yeah.
experienced that at every point in their different points in their lives. This is almost how you would imagine it would play out if it got to its ultimate evil. They want to destroy you. They want you gone, and they want to suck up your energy.
Yeah.
Essentially, they want to
Suck your
use
youth up.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I feel like this was such a brilliant way to portray that through Elizabeth Bathory, this story that's prevailed for, centuries now, that we don't even know is like partially true, is true. It doesn't even matter in this moment. The rumor, the folklore of it is true in this world, and that's what we're getting. I mean, when they like close up on her shoes with like the jewels on them,
Yeah.
and everything,
She's just
and
like,
the way she like plays with her food,
mhm.
essentially, and the way she like drinks the blood, she bathes in it, she's like luxuriating in it, she's almost like orgasming with it.
It's going in her eyeballs. Like,
Oh God,
that was
that
the
bothered
first
me too.
thought. Yes,
Just from
I
an
was like,
actress point of
disease.
view, I was
Yeah.
like, that shit in your eyes. Oh
Eyes.
God,
I don't want
ugh,
anything in my eyeballs.
all up in your vag, like that corn
Yes,
syrup
in
and
your
shit, like
mouth.
in your
It's just,
mouth.
ugh.
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 Anyway, but yeah, like I feel like that's what it says, is like this is what the female perspective on these auctions is like she's not even in the same torture chambers as we see all the men in. She gets her own special beautiful little room with the
does.
bathtub and
Yeah.
everything. It's like a whole different I almost said cocktail, but like like it's this
Well,
whole
yeah,
like
yes. It's
menu
like she's
item.
been here many times before.
I was thinking, I wonder if she
yeah.
does this routinely.
Well,
you
my
know?
like kind of like canon thought is that like this is Elizabeth Bathory and she's been doing
I
this.
love that. Hell yeah.
And it's like she's supernatural and this is how she's
Yes.
maintained her youth. So
Yep.
she's like, this is my chamber. I come here, I do this once a year. I get my blood and I'm this. And I like the idea of like, it almost is like this vampire
I love
kind
that.
of like
Mhm.
blood bank, you know? And that's kind of what I was like, maybe that's her. That's
Yeah, it's her. You know what? I
Yeah.
choose to believe that it's her.
I like that.
Ignore
I wanna
everything
make
I just
Hostel
said. It's just her.
supernatural.
Yeah.
It's her through the ages.
You
Yeah.
mean Dean and Sam are gonna come?
Dean and Sam,
Yes.
yeah, they're gonna show
The
up.
Yes.
supernatural element. Man,
Mhm.
Dean and Sam would clean this place
They
up.
would.
They would
I
take
really
care
think
of
they
business.
would. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, Sammy, what do you think about Mrs. Bathory? Other than the fact that she is actually
It's
the
her.
real
Like
Mrs.
this
Bathory.
is.
I like
mean,
that.
honest.
You know,
I
I do
wasn't
too.
like. I don't think a lot of people think this is historical fiction, but now we know.
Exactly.
Hostel 2, historical fiction. But yeah, no, I love this part and I loved this scene. I think despite, the obvious carnage and sort of tragedy of Lorna's fate, it's such a beautiful scene. Like the set design is gorgeous, how it was filmed and how it was choreographed. It felt like a performance, like a really erotic and sensual.
Yes,
But
it really
also
did.
gruesome and gut wrenching. Like it was a sexy scene, and like I wasn't anticipating feeling that way as I watched it. And I think that's a testament, to the person behind the lens and the actors that are in front of it. But as far as who she is and what she wants, I think if she, whether she's Elizabeth Bathory or not, like she's just this sadist who seeks power and beauty, and I think takes joy in like the degradation of younger women. Like Shelby was saying, like this is one of these women we talk about often who keeps the patriarchy moving as needed, as long as she's not the one on the proverbial meat hook. And I think her character adds a layer, a new layer to the tone, and suggests that the desire for power and violence, it's not exclusively male, but rather like a more universal corruption of wealth. And I did want to use this section to sort of tell us about the behind the scenes stuff, because it was a really rough time for Heather Matazzaro. It was not a great situation so this, kind of like a trigger warning, I guess. But she was sober for about a year when she arrived in Prague and attended the quote, get to know you party prior to shooting. And she claimed she was constantly offered pills by the producers to help her beat the jet lag and get some sleep. And she like reportedly had to turn people away for pushing like drugs on her. And then the actress who plays the redhead, the one that I think looks like Emma Stone, Bijou, I
Bijou
think,
Phillips.
Phillips.
Yeah,
When
she's
she
got a
found out,
whole history of her
she's
own.
Yes, she
awful. Yes,
does.
and I did not realize that until I started doing a little research. Here, once she found out that Heather was sober, she pushed her against a wall and choked her for 20 seconds and said, "I'm going to make you relapse on this film." So that's awful. And Matarazzo said she was too embarrassed to tell the director or producers about the incident. And then coincidentally, early in the film, Bijou's character expresses her annoyance with Heather's character and says, "I swear to God, I'm going to choke the bitch to death." And like, that's basically what she did to her. So
Gross.
also, like, just the behind the scenes in that scene, like, she did say that everyone was super supportive about the nude scene, made it really comfortable for her. She had to do a bunch of training on like a Bowflex to be upside down for that long of time. And like, that's, I mean, it's hard to do that for a really
Yeah.
long
I
time,
was wondering
especially
about
in
her
the nude.
arms too. Like,
Yes,
was that
that was the
painful?
hardest thing. And but she said, yeah, everyone was really great about it. So like, I was at least, you know, happy to hear that the experience of the scene, because it's a really hard scene, wasn't, you know, super traumatic for her, but the filming in general was, because of the other actresses and some of the producers, which is just so. Anyways, it goes to show that
Yeah.
that's why this girl does not really have, the other one doesn't really have a career. We haven't really heard of her
A
because
lot of other reasons
this
she
is
doesn't have a
not the only
career.
reason. Yes,
Yeah, like maybe
yes.
her husband.
Her
Yes.
husband, maybe.
Cole?
Danny Masterson.
Danny Masterson,
Oh.
who
Yeah.
she only divorced once he actually got convicted.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
man. I did not know that was
Yeah.
the same person.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
no, not a known,
Yeah.
not known for her charity work.
Yeah,
if you will.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
will say, Sammy, look into her sister and her dad's
Is it Busy
incestual
Phillips?
relationship. It's
Is
a
it Busy? Is it because Bijou Phillips
Busy
she
is one of
related to
them, but
Busy?
Mackenzie is their oldest sister.
Oh, so it's a
And
whole family.
okay,
of-
Mackenzie Phillips was the mom in So Weird. Do you remember So Weird from the Disney Channel?
I did watch that. Yes.
Mackenzie
Okay.
Phillips is the mom.
They're nepo
And her,
babies.
she wrote a memoir a few years ago that claimed that she had an affair with their dad.
Are they
her
the
dad.
Wilson Phillips
Incest.
people? Like the mamas and the
Yeah,
papas descendant people?
I think
Well-
so. I think that's the same.
I think so.
Well, none of them are great.
No,
it
yeah,
sounds like
I-
it sounds like I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
So- Jeez, that's awful.
Ugh. Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They're
that's
the whole family is its own, like when I
Man, I'll
saw
have to go
that
down that rabbit hole.
that thing where she had held her, where she like choked her and said, "I'm gonna make you relapse." I was like, "Yep, that's old Bijou."
awful. Yeah.
Terrible. No, that's like awful. Like there,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there is like
No
certain
good.
things that like you can be like, like, you know, that's mean, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's genuinely like
That's,
evil villain
like,
shit.
diabolical.
And like
Yeah.
Heather Matarazzo, like
She's
please,
so sweet.
she's
Yeah.
like an angel.
And she's a child star too, so I imagine she was probably, you know, in the scene really early because she's young in this film. So it's like to have to get sober and still be in Hollywood at this time takes so much, like, you know, not only courage but like perseverance and diligence. So to be around other actors, especially in Europe where, you know, things are a little more loosey goose, I feel like, with drinking and drug use. Not that it's loosey goose here or not loosey goose here, but I do feel like there's probably more temptation to do it on a
and like the
vacation
drinking
in
age is
Prague.
younger there and everything.
Exactly.
So
Filming a movie, like, so
That's really.
we vote no on Bijou Phillips.
Yes, yes for Heather Matarazzo because she's Randy's
Yes.
sister and we love her in everything.
Yes.
Rachel, what do you think about this scene?
I agree with Sammy and I agree with Shelby. Everything. I love the idea of her being the actual Elizabeth Bathory. What I kind of took it as is she's kind of just an embodiment of like what do the wealthy like really want to do?
Yeah.
If they can just like do whatever the fuck they want. And you think about it like, you know, you can't avoid it. You see certain celebrities at a certain pillar of wealth and the things and the procedures. And it's like, is there any limit to what you would do if you can afford it and you thought that it did this thing for your skin, for your beauty, for whatever, like what's stopping you, you know? And I think she's kind of the ultimate of that idea, right? Like if you can afford it, if you can arrange it, if you can get away with it, would you do this thing? And
Mhm.
I kind of look at her as that, as like, yeah, she's a rich bitch who wants to stay young and
Yes.
has heard about this procedure where if you kill a quote unquote virgin or virginal like young woman, you will embody that, you will soak up some of that energy and it will keep you youthful.
Yeah.
And it's like actually kind of terrifying because it's like, I like, would somebody do this
Yes. The
if
guy
they
who's injecting his son's blood to make
Yeah.
him look younger.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
blood
That's crazy
facials.
town.
Like,
Yeah.
there's so
yeah.
many people out there and like just the stuff they're doing, it's like it's kind of crazy when you think about it. But
Yeah.
even
Oh, yeah.
like as you've just sort of seen even certain procedures, like I know we all hear about it and see you can't avoid it, especially being a woman in this modern day and age.
Mhm.
But just procedures that like 10 years ago I had never
Buccal
heard.
fat removal thing
Exactly,
is
like
insane
all
to
of these
me.
things. It's
Yeah.
like things that I had never even heard of or could consider, and would it's like it's crazy. But if you have the wealth, if you have the means, if you have the
Mhm.
ability, and you have the luxury of being able to recover in peace and out of the
Yeah.
public eye and everything,
Totally.
how many people are doing it? And so I think this is just kind of the ultimate embodiment of that
I think you're
idea. So
absolutely right.
that's
It's
where
the
I
way
kind of
that
took it.
women are, even at that level, are about their looks, and they always want to look different. I mean, for a while it was the heroin chic, then we went to the Kardashian butts. Well, when the
Mhm.
poors down here got to be able to
Yes.
afford a Kardashian butt,
Yeah.
now
Now
they're
it's
going back
dissolving
to heroin
everything.
chic
Mhm.
again. Yeah, now they're
Yeah.
going back to so incredibly thin that, like,
Yeah.
the red carpets can't be ignored. Like, we're all
It's
seeing it with our
genuinely
eyes.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
so many
Oh.
people online will be like, don't comment on people's
body shame. It's like,
and it's like,
no, this is death. Like,
Yeah, we need to talk
Yeah.
about Wicked for
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
So
was-
but I like that taking it to this idea where it's so in your face.
Mhm.
And like it
Yeah.
is, I think, the most iconic moment of the film, and I do think that says something, that it's
Yeah.
like this woman doing this thing, and I don't just think it's the the bloodbath. I mean it is that, but also it's the fact that it is this beautiful woman doing this to another young woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I've been really into those like Instagram reels of like all of the products and like the close up on your skincare and you like bop them together. And so I'm just imagining her with her like my morning skincare
Night tune
routine, kind of
routine,
thing.
yeah.
Exactly,
The morning,
yeah.
like, what is
The
it?
get ready
Morning
with
shed,
me.
yeah.
Morning
Yeah,
shed.
like, yes,
Pack
yeah.
my bog bag for my bloodlust cures.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
Just-
I
Right?
see products for things that I wouldn't even think I need to do anything for.
The
I
mouth
know.
tape and all
Where
of
you're,
that.
yeah,
I
I'm like,
know.
oh, and then like I saw one recently. I was like, now you have tech neck and the lines on your. And I
Oh
was
my
just like,
God, I've been obsessed with my
just
stupid
become-
tech
yes,
neck. It got to
yes.
me, I swear.
It got to me.
Oh my God.
too.
And like, Rachel,
Like-
you used the word procedure. That's what she would probably refer to this as
She
when she
probably
left to her
would.
friends.
Oh,
Like,
this
yeah,
is
I
just
had a
maintenance.
procedure.
This
Yeah.
is minimum
Uh-huh.
maintenance, right? Like
Yeah.
this
Just
is
good grooming.
It's
Yeah.
Quote
yeah.
Neon Demon, which we will cover at some point. Yeah.
Man.
Well, speaking of all of that influencer shit and procedures, let's pay some bills. Okay, we got to talk about these fucking men because they suck. But
There's
I
something else,
love how
man.
much they suck. Okay, so let's talk about Todd. He is our alpha male here. He is mogging. I can't stop thinking about this clavicular interview with 60
Is that
Minutes.
how you
I
say
know,
it?
I've just
With the
I keep
Australian
saying
guy, yeah.
clavicular.
Oh, no, I think it's clavicular.
I keep
Yeah.
saying clavicular.
Clavicular. Hey, look, he deserves it. He deserves to be
Doesn't matter how
mispronounced.
you
keep
say
saying it wrong.
It's like when
Yeah.
you
I'm
have
changing
Superman
it.
at home,
Yeah.
He's just ugh. Anyways, so yeah, I just keep thinking about that, and like that is what Todd would be. If Todd were like 15 years younger, he would be mogging. He would be like height
Oh, yeah.
maxing,
Looks
Handsome
maxing.
Squidward. Like
Mhm.
that's like the
Yeah.
meme.
Oh, yeah. He'd have the jaw
Yes.
filler. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
bit smashing his face. in the
Todd
head
drives a
with a hammer.
Cybertruck.
Oh,
Oh
he
my God.
absolutely drives a
Totally.
Cybertruck. Yes.
Yes.
But what I love about this is how he fucking falls apart because he's the leader here. He, like I said, he was the alpha because it's his idea. He's the one that's
He paid
paying
for it.
for it,
Yeah.
galvanizing it. Like I don't know if we never know if he has a family or wife or kids. He probably does because
I would
that's
think
just,
so. Yeah.
he would have like a trophy wife or something.
Mhm.
But I love these two men in contrast with each other. He wants Whitney dressed up in like lingerie, this epitome of kind of like a sex worker vibe, and he says, you probably used that face to get whatever the fuck you wanted, didn't you? And then that is what he is attacking is his face or her face. But then once it actually happens, he can't handle it. And I do think that this language, like you have to complete, you have to finish, I think is very intentional because it just feels really emasculating here. Like he
Yeah.
goes and he cries in the elevator and then that's when he's ripped apart. And I mean, couldn't happen to a worser guy, but I like that we get to see this moment of vulnerability of like this thing that I've been pumping myself up with. Maybe it's not, maybe this doesn't make me feel like a man anymore. It makes me feel like
Totally.
shit and I'm too scared to do it. But Rachel, why can't Todd finish here?
That it's funny that you say it like you took it as once he started. I always took it as he messed up.
And I
Like,
definitely think there's an element of that. Yeah.
because
She
he
doesn't look
didn't-
pretty anymore.
well,
Yes.
like it didn't go according to his plan.
Yeah.
Like he was
Blew
having
his load too fast.
Yeah, like he was having fun torturing her and like threatening her with this circular saw, right? But then her hair gets caught in it and it rips it out and it's like he fucked it up. And I think it was like, no,
Like a control
like,
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like he lost control. He messed it up. No, this didn't go according to my plan. This isn't what I
I
wanted
don't
to
want to
happen.
play anymore. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
It's
taking my
like
ball and going
very
home.
immature,
Yeah.
emotionally immature
The balls.
response where he's like, this isn't what I paid for. I expected it to go a certain way. And he's a guy who kind of like basically as a white, rich man in society, it seems like an attractive looking guy, generally speaking, like he's very privileged in that sense. And it's like now in this ultimate moment, he didn't get what he wanted. And now he's going to throw a tantrum. And if it can't happen exactly as he wanted it, now he's not happy and he's not going to do it. So I think that it's more just like kind of like a frustration and a disappointment. And now, and it's like he doesn't actually think that there will be consequences, almost like he storms out and is like, no, like that's not what I wanted. That's not what I paid for. I'm not going to finish this. It didn't go according to plans. So whatever. And I genuinely think he didn't expect them to kill it because why would it? Like he's untouchable, right? Like why would he have these sort of consequences, even though he warns his friend Stuart, like you don't fuck with these people. But it's like the rules don't apply to him.
Yeah, because he thinks he thinks he's one of those people, and because he's got Stuart to look down on,
Yeah.
Yeah. Shelby, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I agree with Rachel. And yeah, I think that he comes from a world where money means everything. And so he literally leaves the room being like, you can keep the money. I don't care. Like you have my money. Like thinking like that's it. And it is really satisfying in a way to see like, no, those rules don't apply. Like you're in a whole different world. Like this is not about, I mean, it is about money.
You
but
don't
like,
have
this
control
is not
here.
about money. Yeah. This is where we get to the power part where everybody has enough money. Now we're to the power section. This is the other tax bracket,
Yes.
Yeah. And what I loved about this character is he's such a good representation of these men who do things for other men. Like they have one of you said something about like he probably has a trophy wife. Like they date a certain type of woman, even if that's not even their type in their heart and soul. That's
It's
who they're dating.
society's type.
Yeah, it is society's type. So that's who they're married to. And this is the house they have. Oh my God, you called it, Rachel. He would have a fucking Cybertruck because he would have ordered the first round of Cybertrucks.
Oh, for
he
sure.
would have been on that list,
Yep. He eats like the raw meat diet.
And he talked about that, right? Like he tells Stuart, like, it's like, a guy, like you see, he walks into a room and it's like, that he's killed somebody.
He's killed somebody.
And it's like, this didn't go according to how it's like, no, that's not the story I want. Like, I need that energy. And like, this isn't vibing for me. This isn't how I wanted it. So like, I can't walk into that room to impress these other guys.
Exactly. There's like a nugget of like, I hate to even call it, but a nugget of like normalcy in him. That's like, this is actually gross and sucks.
It's like when you come and you're like, ew, what was I just joking
Exactly.
to?
Exactly. Yeah. And he's just like, ugh. Like
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
Can't believe I'm sure Mike's like, oh, hearing from the other room, like, that's
We just
what
see the
she's
door
saying,
Hey, we're
crack
gonna
right?
open
clip
behind
it.
you.
Yeah, like, what?
Hey, what? Hey,
Hey,
what?
girls jerk it too, okay?
Yeah,
We gotta
Girls
have
okay.
some
jerk it
fun.
too.
I can make it a
Hey,
euphemism for that.
as long as we're not
too.
doing it in the corner of Spencer's, I think we're all good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know
Dogs
what?
for
He
all,
recommended
girls
this
jerk
movie.
it
too.
So
Exactly.
he was asking for whatever conversation comes out because he recommended this movie. So
That's
it's
true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
This is your
asking
fault,
for it.
Mike.
It
The
is
one time
really
I
his
get to
fault.
say that and be
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's like, and he's a good representation of like those men who like go along with their shit friends who like do everything from just are like say bad things to do incredibly bad things, and they just kind of
Yes.
stand by and watch, and they're almost envious of the men who do the bad things even though they aren't the ones who do it, because those guys have some sort of power, like they like just this. I want to just he just wants to kill someone just so people will know he killed someone. He doesn't want
Yeah.
to kill anyone. He just wants other people to think he did, which honestly, dude, you could just tell people or start a rumor
lie.
yourself.
Just lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hire
You got
someone
that
to like
tattoo?
start
Yeah.
that rumor about you. Like, who cares? Anyway, but yeah, and then like he's never had a consequence in his life. Like, I could see him being the type who like coercively like assaulted someone in college and has no idea
yes.
that was even
And
like
got out of it, like a Brock Turner type of
a
situation.
Brock Turner type, and
Yes.
is convinced he didn't actually do anything wrong. Like, fully
Yes.
convinced
She didn't
himself.
say no.
Mhm.
That
Exactly.
type of
Yeah.
guy.
Something
She
like
came
that.
on to
And
me,
so
yeah.
him getting like them sicking the dogs on him, like the dog he is, was like the most beautiful way for him to have been killed in this movie. I loved it.
And just
I
ripped
love
apart.
how mangled they made his body. It was
I
like
know. His face
so
was
crazy.
fucked up.
Like,
No one's IDing that body.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's
It's
your
great.
gore hounds. We're giving it to you. It's
Exactly.
just with
When they
the
wheel
men,
him
which I
out,
love.
it's like kind of
Uh-huh.
adorable. Like, here
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
It's like his little guts or all
His
of
little
it. It's like a
guts,
little
yeah.
rope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sammy, what do you think?
I think he's very RFK Jr. coded. That
Yep.
was like the vibe I got. Sorry to actually no, I'm not.
No one listening needs a sorry.
I'm
I
not sorry.
don't think.
But I think he's all mouth, that simple. And I think the idea of torturing and killing a girl for money to show how macho he is was an alluring thing as an idea, but I think when you see the kind of anguish and the blood and the nastiness of the reality of taking someone's life, like it when it comes down to it, it's not as fun. It's not supposed to be a fun experience. You know what I mean? Like, people come back from war with PTSD, like from taking people's lives. Like, I hope to live a life in which I never take someone else's life. So to think that is something that someone would pay to do is just insane to me. And I do think that people who say like, I could shoot somebody, I could do it, I could kill someone, it's like when they get up to it, it's not that easy. And even soldiers, you know what I mean? Because that's not an uncommon thing in war, is like for guys to kind of peacock and then not be able to do it when it comes down to it. And I feel like the film is sort of, offering a critique of masculinity under capitalism and how bodies are bought and sold without thought. And here you have two characters that are really eager to enter this flesh market. And one man is like, the embodiment of success. He is fit and he is strong and he's financially successful. But the man who has it all, when it comes down to it, he lacks like the will to commit the deed that he has signed up and paid for. And it's the middle class guy who hates his wife and feels trapped, like the one with resentment that is able to, take it to the next level and commit murder, like a real, real anger behind it. He's placing a face on this person, much like a lot of serial killers. Like, it's like like I'm trying to think of, it's like a Psycho situation where everyone is like the same kind of thing to to him. Like, so that's kind of how I saw him. And I think what he realized was that he wanted to play the game of life and just couldn't.
Yeah, he could. The game that he has set up for himself too, because this, like, you probably used that face to get whatever the fuck you wanted. I feel like is so revealing for him because it just reveals this hatred of women, and he is probably imagining some girl that he actually liked and maybe rejected him, and he's like, but that's not the way it's supposed to happen. I have this. I've got my Cybertruck. I've got my like my jawline, and you're supposed to like me, and you
I
don't.
go to
Now,
Mar-a-Lago and you don't like me.
exactly. How can you be attractive and not like me when I'm attractive too? And it's just like this hatred of the game itself, but he can't turn that on himself and imagine and like reimagine his life. And like I just watched this video. I hate to keep talking about clavicular, but it's just been on my mind. And I think he would be at this kind of thing. And I watched
Yeah.
this video. I was like, you're saying you think men are more attractive than women because you're gay. You can
It's
just
like
say
Trump.
that you're
It's
gay.
like so
Yeah.
many, so much of the Republican GOP. It's like, it's cool, guys. Like, you can just fuck other men.
can
Like,
just
you
be
don't-
Exactly, but
gay.
they can't
We're
admit
cool with
that because
Yeah.
it's like this entire mindset of what like masculinity
Yes.
is, and it just doesn't allow for that kind of introspection. And it
Yeah,
just,
and
Oh
those
my
so
God, I
many of
never
those
thought of it like that.
Yeah, so many of those men think that women skate through life. I mean, you can see it on Twitter even now,
Yes.
like where they just have this
Ugh,
assumption that
if
women
they
just
only
like get
knew.
whatever
Pretty
they want.
privilege.
Yeah, and they skate through life. Him saying that, it's like, oh, you're just like one of those. Like,
yeah, it's
we're-
like you are the one who perpetuates that system. Like you don't have to give pretty women whatever they want because that's not what we want, you know?
Mhm.
It just, oh, okay. Well, let's talk about Stuart. Just in case you thought my head was about to explode with Todd, because, oh, okay. He says, someone brought me here, same as you. He wanted me to do this with him. Oh, it wasn't my choice. I'm telling you, Stuart, it's like,
I
I
hate
can't
him.
remember who the
I
actor
hate him.
It is the perfect actor
He's
for
in
this.
Supernatural, which is funny.
Roger
and
Bart, I think his name
Roger Bart,
is.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
he's in a ton of stuff.
because
Yeah.
he is so convincing as this nerd. And the first time I watched this, I was like, oh, he is going to rescue her. And I love that it turns.
Oh, he's Doc Brown in the new stage production of Back to the Future.
Yeah, he was
Yes,
like the
yes.
Hercules
All right.
singing voice. He was in
Yes.
Stepford Wives. I loved him in
Yes,
Stepford
right.
Wives.
Hey,
yeah.
he's
He's
in the
great in this
producers.
role.
Midnight
He's-
Meat Train. I like that movie.
Oh, I did like
Oh, I
that
love
too.
that
Yeah,
movie,
Bradley
yeah.
Cooper. Yeah.
So
We
he's
might
been
be able to
around.
cover that at some point.
Hmm.
I'll have to think about it because I think, anyways, it's got kind of like a Nightcrawler vibe to
I do-
it.
I
so,
like it, yeah.
But he says, I'm not allowed to kill my wife. So, of course, he has
Or
best
baby.
dress episode. I know.
Must
I'm
be
like,
rough.
fuck you,
What
dude.
divorce is for.
You're not really
Yeah.
allowed to kill anyone, Stuart.
I
Like,
can't remember if Ashley said this on this podcast or on Losers Club. Ashley, our frequent guest, friend of the pod, dear friend, she has said that she's had conversations with her husband. Like, you can just divorce
Mike-
me.
Mike and
You
I
don't
say-
have to kill me.
anytime
my
I'm
parents
watching
have
one of
that
these
conversation all
docuseries,
the
I'm
time
like,
too.
please,
Like,
you
hey,
can take the money. I
Exactly.
just would rather live.
I just don't want to die. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I've taken just a little bit. I didn't write everything down, he said, but as he's talking to Beth after this turn, he says, notice anything different about me. This is after he's just killed Whitney. Fucking respect me now. I don't fucking work for you to humiliate me, to tell me I'm shit. Never fuck me, which I thought was interesting too. We also see that he's got kids. And, you know, as a woman with kids, your perspective changes. You're not thinking about fucking all the time. You know, it's
No.
just, oh, but then he also calls her, you fucking whore. And I mean, please tell me I'm not the only one that heard that guy Charlotte dates saying, you fucking bitch, you fucking whore.
Oh.
Like the thing that he has to say to come.
He's
He
like,
doesn't even
"Sorry,
realize-
Yeah. Oh my
Sorry.
God, I totally forgot about that one.
I promise
Oh,
that's my
poor
last Sex in the
Charlotte.
City, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sammy, what do you think Stuart actually wants here?
Oh, Stuart, and not. I mean, I guess he is kind of Stuart Little.
Stuart Little,
dick.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, he's definitely little
yeah.
now.
But he's, he's the white knight. He's the not all men man, as we like to refer to them. And I think it's made, fairly apparent he desires to escape his mundane life and his nagging bitch wife by acting out his very deep-seated frustrations on someone that looks like her, even though I don't really think they look that much alike. When you see the photo, I'm like, what, she has
It's like
black
that,
hair?
just the hair, the middle part.
Because
yeah.
at the beginning, he's like, oh, it's uncanny. I was like, is it? Is it uncanny?
Or do you
but-
just hate women?
Yeah, exactly. But I think this is why we don't see her face in the scene that he is introduced in, or the kids, because ultimately they don't see him as much as he needs to be seen and appreciated. So I think there's some, metaphorisms going on there. But I sort of, again, creating my own backstory for these characters, sort of assumed that the wife became the main breadwinner, and she's like sees him now as weak and unneeded in this marriage, and this is why Beth goes for his dick. It's a play on the man's fear of being castrated by his own wife, kind of. Like even in his expensive ass fantasy, he can't get the job done. So
Yeah.
And
I
that's what
love
I would
that.
say if I was his wife. I was like, you can't even do this. Why would I want to fuck you?
Exactly. And, for the record, it is perfectly like we don't know if this is just his like fragile little male ego who thinks
Yes.
that his wife, who actually has power and autonomy, is a nag. Like, we just don't know. But even if she is a nag, like, again, just divorce her. You
Just
don't have
divorce
to kill
her.
her. Yeah.
I'd be like, I wasn't there. I didn't marry you. Like, this
Exactly.
poor
Yeah,
girl's
I'm not
like,
part of
It's
this.
a
sorry.
normal midlife crisis
Yes.
affair also.
Yes.
Buy yourself a
Go get a
car.
Cybertruck.
Go, yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Yeah, it's offensive, but nobody's gonna. Well,
No. Well,
some people may
it's
die.
better than
We'll see.
killing people, I guess.
That's true. Yeah. Well, Shelby, what do you think about Stuart?
I loved the reveal because I thought the actress they have in the photo looked just enough like her that it was it was effective as a reveal
Yeah.
of like,
It tells you everything you need to know.
Yes.
yeah, like
Mhm.
the reveal that she looks like his wife was just like, that was my favorite part of the movie because it was like, here he is. He's officially a different type of misogynist. He, like you
Mhm.
said, Sam, he is the nice guy.
Mhm.
I'm a nice guy. Why is everyone being so mean to me? I'm a nice
Mhm.
guy.
So nice.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
this guy is like the way that he ended up being the violent one. He ended up being the one with this unrepentant rage towards his wife and children, when it's like, once again, like, no one tied you up and made you get married. Like, you chose this. Like, you chose this life. He is in the same kind of, if we assume the same line of work as Todd, some sort of corporate
Business.
person, but like
Yeah.
much
Stock
lower
market
below
shit.
Todd.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
like, what, I don't know, you signed up for all of this. You're not, again, you can
Yeah.
get divorced. You're making yourself, it's like that SpongeBob meme where he's wearing the handcuffs, but they're like way too big, and it's like, this is him. You can just take
You
those
do the
off.
time, serve
Yeah.
the crime.
Yeah.
That's
And
Yeah.
the double blow of them emasculating him with his finances at the end, where she is like,
Yes.
I will buy my way out of here, and he's like, no, I'll bid her. And they're like, you have a second mortgage on your house, and
Yeah.
we checked your credit score.
And you didn't even
actually.
fucking pay for this.
exactly,
Your
that
friend
was
paid
the
for
only
this.
plot hole I
Yes.
didn't like, where I was like, you guys would have Googled her though. Like, you guys would have known she has a bunch of money.
yeah.
Right. Like, that was the only
Mhm.
time I was like, wait a minute, why didn't you Google her?
Yeah.
But I did love that moment where they were like, you can't buy your way out of here, you stupid little Weasley man. And I just see so many of these guys. These are the guys, and I've talked to Sammy about this. Like, these are
You've
the guys
seen a
I have
lot
in
of
like
them.
my DMs are like married men who
They're
are like,
rough.
my like anonymous question form I use for my other show. It's like, I literally, like, I have a wife and kids, but like, I want to marry you, and like, if I had a different
Not even
life, and
using like fake accounts. Like
it's
the level of like I wish I had that kind of confidence.
That's
I
what I
guess.
was going to say. I was like, man, to live with that sort of, just exist in the world with that sort of ignorant bliss confidence.
Literally.
Man,
Jesus.
what that must
Literally.
be like.
yeah. So it was
Ugh.
like extra satisfying for me to see this man get his dick cut off. I don't know,
Yes.
just for personal reasons, for the DMs, and also my previous relationship. I was like, yeah.
Well,
Do
and
encounter a lot of these guys at the various cons we attend.
Girl,
A lot of nice guys, like the Milady,
Milady.
guy. Like, not that I think that the Milady guy kills people, but
Yes.
there's a lot of white
couple of them
knighting.
do.
Yeah.
it's a slippery
If
slope.
If
you
given
have
the
to prove
chance.
constantly that you're a good guy, if every other sentence out of your mouth is "I'm a good guy," why don't girls like me? It's usually a
Actions
red
over
flag.
words.
I don't ever
Yeah,
want
when
to hear
guys
not all
come
men
up to the
ever
table who
again.
are like,
again.
I'm sure you have this thing, you think I'm this way, and Sammy and I look at each other like,
Well,
we
now
don't
I
think
do.
about you at all.
Yeah,
but
ever. I've never have.
Mhm. Ugh,
yeah.
Well, Rachel, what do you think about Stuart?
Stuart wants different results, but he doesn't want to do any of the work.
Because it's the
And,
women's job to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's kind of the definition of insanity, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's like he's so unhappy. He's so like feels so, I don't know, just like something has been stolen or he's deprived of all these
Yeah.
things, but has zero interest in actually interrogating anything else other than just the fact that he's frustrated. And this is what happens. This is what resentment is. And so I think he's just the epitome of that kind of guy that never actually looks at themselves and is just looking at like all the things that they think are wrong in the world. When it's like, oh, are you, maybe have a conversation with your wife. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
divorce her. Like
Yeah.
maybe like, I don't know, just do something
Have an
about it.
affair,
You have
too.
control over
Sure,
this
over
situation.
that.
Normal
Yeah.
ass affair. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
telling
just,
people to go have affairs, but like, there are levels. Like,
Don't kill people. Yeah.
yeah.
as we like to say, take accountability. And
Yes.
I think
Accountability.
I mean, and not just for men, there's a lot of people out there like this where it's like, how do you not see that like you do have control over the situation, and that's not, and I don't know, you don't have to kill somebody for it.
Or
Like
that
there
it's-
are other ways to
It can
solve this
be
problem.
your fault too.
Yes.
You
No,
know,
Well, that's
like,
the thing. It's
yeah.
like heaven forbid I look at myself.
Right.
Gross. Why would I
Mhm.
want to change? Why would I want to be something or do something different? Like, no, that's
These
not
people
an
keep
option.
leaving me. Why do these
Yeah.
people not want to be around me? It's
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
Homelander, right? With like,
Yeah.
like why
Yeah.
do these people keep leaving me?
Oh my God.
Maybe
Yes,
exactly.
Homelander's a great
Possibly.
example of that. Yeah.
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 And you know what's interesting too is not Huey, but a lot of roles that Jack Quaid plays. Like I'm thinking specifically about Companion and Scream,
And Scream.
2 is
Yeah,
this
Scream 2,
idea
yeah.
that like I'm a nice guy. I know how to say the right things. I know how to play that part, but what is underneath me may be worse than the rest of the men, you know?
Yeah.
And I think there's such interesting mirroring here too, because I was thinking about how it's so satisfying to see him in that chair and having the tables turned. What he thought what he was going to do to somebody else gets done to
Yep.
him. And we see that same mirroring with Whitney and Todd too, because when she escapes the makeup room, the dogs are like about to get her,
You're
and they're
right.
just
Yeah.
I
inches
hadn't thought about
away, and
that.
it's the
Yeah.
dogs that end up getting him. And I think it's just that is, I think, in a lot of ways, what separates this movie from the first one. It's just it's saying a lot more, and I think it's really putting the power where it needs to be and taking the piss out of the masculine power, you know.
And a question though, before we move on, do you think his wife missed him or was like a little bit relieved when he never came back? 'Cause,
Oh,
like,
I think just given based off the body like if
Yeah.
he hates her this much to the point where he wants to pay someone to, like a lookalike to kill them,
Yeah.
I imagine that she's also not a super
She,
big
like-
fan of him.
like
Yeah,
she took
true.
a little too long to report him missing and was kind of like,
yeah, and she's like, "Oh
"Ugh."
no, oh no!" It's like the ending of what's that Nathan Fielder show with Emma Stone? You know,
Oh, the curse.
Yeah.
The curse. Yes,
Mhm.
no spoilers, but you know, I don't think she's super
Oh my
sad.
god, yeah.
Also,
yeah.
like we see her and the kid leave to get on the school bus.
They don't even
Not
say
a
anything.
day goes
Yeah.
by that my kids and my husband leave the house and they do not say goodbye to me too, even if we're like yelling across the house.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that's a really big tell too, you know, and he doesn't even notice that they leave either.
Yeah.
It's
So no, I don't
So
think
no.
I don't think she
so.
misses him.
I think she's going to be in a better position. She's going to get
Yes.
his inheritance. She's
Love
going to be
that.
able to move on.
Maybe
It's
life
gonna be-
insurance, hopefully. Yes.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it's going to be
We can
good
only
for
hope.
her, I will
Mhm.
say.
Good for
Like,
her.
our next category is good for her.
Claiming she could take it no more, the young mother released the emergency brake, allowing her car to roll backwards into the nearby lake.
Good for her.
All right. And this is when we look into the camera and we say, yes, we know murder is bad, but if I ended up in this fucking place, I would cut a dick off in a heartbeat.
So fast.
Yeah. And while we are reclaiming the word cunt, I will cut your dick off if you call me that too. So,
Mhm.
allegedly, just
Yeah.
oh,
Look at you. Look at these.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so
You
let's
don't
talk.
want to mess with us.
No, we got guns for these. I have been lifting weights, so and
Ah.
also there's like a huge storm rolling it through here too. So apologies if anybody hears anything or if I keep
You
looking out
lucky.
the
I
window.
love a rain
Dude,
day.
I
miss
do
rain.
too. I'm so excited. It's like thundering and lightning. That's why I kept looking over
Oh.
there. So okay, let's talk about Beth, our lady killer of the hour. She says, I want to buy my way out of here. And I love it. I love when she turns the tables on him. And I love her whole, like, I need this, like all of these money things that Corey probably understands. But I was like,
I don't know. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know what a 401k
Yeah,
is.
she was saying stuff. It was
Exactly.
impressive.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
It
I was
really
like, yeah.
was.
But like really
And then
showing
I-
like, no, I'm like, I know
No,
what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I know
about.
what, what I'm
exactly.
talking about.
Take
Started
me
Exactly.
naming
seriously.
like tight like places, and I was like, oh,
I know.
okay, yeah.
And I think that is how, because I'm sure people have tried to do that before too, you know, and
yeah.
it's
Yes.
that she has that financial literacy. She can speak their language, and that is what tells them she's one of them. And that's what I think is really interesting about this and why it's interesting to have Mrs. Bathory is a part of this, is that while there's a lot of misogyny here, that's not completely what it is. It's more of an elite versus underlings. And it just so happens that we're used to objectifying women. So that's what comes easiest to us, you know? But she also says, and this is a paraphrase, I didn't write it down exactly, but I could buy everyone in this room if I wanted to, which I think is another just kind of subtle way of saying, I'm one of you because I would buy a human being, even if we know she wouldn't necessarily do it. So, Rachel, do you think Beth is a hero or does she become a villain here? And is this good for her horror? I want to kind of roll those together.
I know. It's an interesting question because, like, I don't know if hero is the right word. But I don't also think, like, I don't think she's a villain. She's using the tools that she has at her disposal, and she understands what it is actually motivating these people, especially the people like working, quote unquote, there. Like, I don't necessarily get the impression that everybody, not all, but clearly they condone this and they know what's going on and they're fine with it on that level. But some of those people, it's like they probably don't all necessarily want to torture and kill people themselves, but they understand
Job's a job.
this is a job's a job. It's a good paying job. This is what I have to do. And like, we can all make out like bandits and share the wealth at some level, I guess. And also it keeps it from happening to me.
Yeah.
So I think that that's like part of it. And so by Beth saying like, hey, like I have this money, I can do that. Like, I think that that is a very logical response and just like kind of getting on their level. And also, like you said, saying, I'm one of you, and not even like in a way like I'm one of you where I want to do this to people too, but like I'm one of you where I'm a wealthy person, which makes me a real person in your eyes. Because clearly all these other people aren't quote unquote real people to them because they're disposable.
Yeah.
They're poor. What are
They're
they
products.
contributing? Nobody will miss them. Whatever. They're in a different
American.
country. Yeah, like they're not adding anything to the world. Like, who cares? And by her saying like, I could buy everyone, you know, in this room, kind of like, oh, you're one of us. We didn't notice.
Sorry, madame.
Your
Yeah.
disguise of just like a college, student touring around Europe. Like, oh, our bad. We didn't recognize you. But like, I get it. I think the step that I found interesting was how she does go back and do that whole thing with Axel, because that's like taking it one step further. It wasn't that she just was doing these things and cutting off dicks and stuff to get out of the room and save herself. It's like, no, she goes back. And I also, though, like to make sure it doesn't happen to others.
Yeah.
So I like, hero might be a strong word, but like, I get it. And like, I think it's a heroic move. I guess the other thing is like, I don't think it's not like she's going to like take this up and make this like her whole identity.
Right.
And become some sort of like vigilante hero who just goes around like slaughtering bad people.
Yeah.
I do have to imagine like this would be the end of it. So in that way, I do think it's good for her because she used the tools at her disposal, and she also took out this honeypot to like, I don't know, send a message. And obviously this guy has a huge fucking painting of her and like in
She
his
means
house.
something
And
to
she
him, you
means
know?
something to him.
Yeah.
So I think it is in that way. I guess my other question is like, because she gets the tattoo and everything. Do you think she's ever going to like speak on this though?
I was just going to say, I don't think she's going to the police because that is part of what that beginning scene
It's
is
a
about.
risk too.
It's like,
Yeah,
you
they're in on
can't,
it.
you
You're
know?
not safe. No one's
Yeah.
safe. And that's the thing is like, I don't consider her like, you know how we like people who see things that are bad and they don't do anything about it.
Exactly.
Like, I don't see her as that because she was a victim of this situation. You know what I mean? Like, if this happened to you and you were so scarred after, like I don't know. I don't see you as a bad guy because you didn't say anything to anybody.
Yeah,
You
understandable.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess.
look what happened in The Hunt, too. You know, it's like you might
Yes.
expose this, but is anybody going to believe you, too?
Look what's
you know?
happening right now. Right now
Yes.
in our world.
Seriously.
Every day we have literal like, hey, this person did this. And it's like, well, I didn't see anything.
Did they
Like,
really?
Yeah,
Yes.
like it's
No, that was just AI. You know,
yes,
that was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Sammy, what do you think about Beth? And is this good for her horror?
Like I said, like while I do think her character goes through a few transformation. I don't ever see her as a villain. And while yes, she is rich, and this is Eat the Rich month, let us not forget that she comes back to attack her captors with some vigilante justice. So while not becoming a villain in the sense of hunting innocent travelers, she does embrace the violent nature of the facility to survive. But I don't find that villainous in the traditional villain sense, you know?
Yeah.
The
Would you say
traditional
she
big
draws the
bad.
cat eye sharp enough to kill a man, though?
Absolutely. She is she don't dress for women, and she certainly don't dress for men.
Exactly.
Lately,
She's
she's been dressing for revenge.
for revenge.
Okay?
Yes, that's Taylor Swift, everyone.
Yes.
Mark your bingo card.
Yes. But I think, she's a final girl who wins by turning into the monster that threatened her. And by using her money to survive, she can sort of attempt to save another girl, maybe, from falling to the same fate, by taking down this cabal of people. And I don't know, I kind of would like to think that she continues to hunt them all after she kills the girl. Like, I think that given that Beth has willingly put herself in danger again in order to avenge herself and her friends, like, I don't know. I could see her going like, okay, I've already lived through this. Like, what else do I have to do? I can just keep killing these people and learn some skills. Like, it's very like the Bride from the Kill Bill series, kind of, I guess, is what I kind of imagine her future to be. But I think had she just walked away with her tattoo, it could be assumed she would just take the win and let things go. But I do think this ending kind of hints that Beth will not just place a nice and just a walk away type of thing. And that feels very good for me, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, if she could buy all of Slovakia, that implies that she can buy Scary Businessman too. So it could be that she can use her wealth to take this whole thing down. Like, she actually could take this whole thing down in a way that you couldn't by going to the authorities, Shelby, what do you think about Beth, and is this good for her?
I think it is good for her. And one thing about Beth, is she's a queer character. I mean, we avoid the bury your gays trope, which is really interesting for this era and for this director.
And it's not exploitative lesbian stuff.
It's not
either.
exploitative lesbianism. They don't even explore it hardly, other than a very normal, you would a heterosexual relationship, but she just has a crush on her
subtle.
Friend.
It's
She has a crush on this
subtext, I think.
honeypot woman. It's very just normal. It's just this is just kind of how she gets caught up. Just happens to the best of us. And I really love that about the character. And it is interesting that she comes back for her revenge. Like we said, this man has a painting of this bitch in his house. So she's his favorite, at least, and he's got to get a whole new slew, because especially the other two died too, and she was, they got to get a whole new crop of ladies. But so it's at least an inconvenience, but yeah, I would say this is good for her horror. I would say that it was heroic in its own self-preservation, in that
totally,
she thought on her feet. She could not save her friends. She just couldn't. That's one thing that adds to the hope, the beauty and the hopelessness of this movie is and that's part of the horror, is there is no saving your friends. She couldn't even try.
It's too late.
It's too late. Yeah. And so it's well, what else am I gonna fucking do? One of them's head's laying over there. The other one, I don't think she even knows what
she
ever
never
happened.
knows.
Yeah, she never knows.
Yeah.
So it's I don't fucking know. So I've just got to get out of here. This is what I can do. And I'd like to think that once she gets out, she tries to take some stuff down from the outside. But also, who knows? What if she's one of those that's just kind of
I'd be fine with that too.
I would be too. Go relax and drink some tea at home.
If I went through this, I first of all, I'd be dead in seconds. I have no survival skills. So, and I have, despite me showing my guns, very little strength. So I'm dead immediately. But if by some chance I survive, I'm taking it as the win, and I'm out of there. Sorry, guys.
And I think that is fine. That's the thing. Survivors, it shouldn't be our responsibility to fix the system that victimized us.
No. Absolutely.
Because
for one, I think she is a hero to the bubblegum gang.
I think so too.
Friend. I'm sure these little kids, as much as they're initially presented as little terrors of the community, they're this man.
They're kids.
They clearly knew he was going to kill. This has probably happened even before the kid we do see die.
Oh, for sure. They knew. Yeah.
And
why they're so stoic. They're just is it going to be me
pushes
today?
the kid because he's like, it's it's not
she
gonna be me.
is too.
They know who
Yeah.
she is. That was the thing.
Yeah.
They knew who she was. And so it's like,
Mhm.
who knows what that whole story is. And they were more, it seemed like they were more than happy to help her set up that little trap. So,
Yep.
you know, she's a hero to them too. She couldn't help her friends, but she can at least get some justice for these little kids and then go on her merry way and live her best lesbian life somewhere, I hope. So,
Love to see it.
with
We
all her
really do.
money, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I think this is good for her horror too in that way, and I do like that she's an anti-hero. You know, that's why
Yeah.
it's fun to sing that song. Also, it's just a good song. Well, okay, hold on. Anti-hero is a different song. That was vigilante
shit
shit.
is different, but they're
Yes.
both on midnight.
They
so I'll
exactly,
give it to you.
which
Yeah.
is maybe my favorite, but that
It's
I would have to
one
think
of
hard
mine as
about
well.
that. Yeah.
It's up there for sure.
Yeah, but I just like when women get to kind of embrace that ambiguity of like maybe I'm villainous, maybe I'm not, because it's not really the point.
Or
The point is her
bad.
getting
We can be
out, you
bad.
know.
Yeah.
Exactly. And her turning the tables and finding power in a situation where she was completely dehumanized, you know. Okay, so we are unanimous that this is good for her horror, but are we going to die for the movie? Let's find out in our penultimate category, Die for Me.
Look at her. I would die for her. I would kill for her. Either way, what bliss.
This is a section where we give our final thoughts and decide will we die for her. Sammy, are you going to die for Hostel Part 2?
Yes. And I'm going to die for Lorna and Beth. Easy. No question about it. Obviously not the other one so much, given what we know in real life.
Yeah.
But hey, they didn't make her completely unlikable until I have been informed of who she is.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of hard
so
to overlook that.
it kind of is. It was hard for me to overlook before I even heard the rest of it. So,
Yeah.
oh, ouchie. Rough. But I think, you know, like we've been saying this whole episode, what I love so much about this ending is that it sort of, you know, represents the main character kind of embracing the evil of this town in order to get her own revenge on them. And I just, like you just said, Jen, like I love when a woman gets to be the big bad. It's always going to be my favorite, even if it's not like the main villain. You know,
Yeah.
I love to see a badass bitch. Who doesn't? You know what I mean? As much as I hate the word badass, like this is badass. So, like using, you know, the system of the hunting club to get revenge on the man who's going to torture you, like that's just as good as it gets for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't have written it. It's like Revenge. It is literally like the movie Revenge.
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
similar. I do feel like they'd also make a good little double feature there. But
Yeah.
I also think it sort of subtly, you know, addresses the liability of wealthy white men, like white women, I mean to say, not men, although them too, all of them. But you like, it's sort of an equal opportunist message that women can just be brutal, just as brutal and evil as men. And at the time, I think we weren't seeing that a lot. Certainly not from Eli Roth. So yeah, well done with the feminism within your torture porn film, which was not on my bingo card.
Seriously. Yeah. Shelby, what about you? Are you going to die for Hostel Part 2?
I will. And I'm so shocked by it. Like, when we were talking, like, I felt like last night, I know it wasn't last night, but when we were talking about like what
I
we're going
kept
to
saying
switch
it was last
to,
night too.
I know, like what we were going to switch to, I did not anticipate this. I wasn't like dreading it or anything, but I was kind of like, well, I know what I'm in for, and like, we'll see. And I was wrong. I will admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong. I think I will die for this movie. It was so interesting in so many different ways. I mean, even the intro. I mean, I wasn't, like I said, it was my first Hostel movie, but still, I'm not dumb, and I could see the throwback to in the beginning.
Yes.
And so it was like an interesting way to start it, to really set up like how the lengths these people will go to, you know, and to really give those villains like more of a depth. And then it just like kept digging into more depth through the movie. And I really, I would. I loved it.
Rachel, what about you?
I would die for this, and that's fucking wild.
I know.
I know.
It's like I'm perplexed.
I know. But I do like what you said, Shelby, about like Beth's heroic and her own self-preservation. And I think that's what, like, I like how this lands, because it also, like, her whole thing with Axel and just being able to buy her way out, it just kind of shows too that she's kind of in that moment like, hey, I can play your game too. Like, don't underestimate me. And I think that I like that message too, of just like, don't make judgments about women in general, because like, you know, you never know, and just like making these kind of sweeping judgments about a whole segment of society is short-sighted. And by taking out Axel, who is also a woman, I think is fascinating, because then it's like, because she is the honeypot, like who's going to lure these people in now?
Yeah. Who's
Because
going to make
as
them
we've
feel
Winnie the
safe?
Pooh.
Yeah.
as we've seen, like, sending those men in didn't always necessarily work very well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it worked with Lorna, but there's
Poor
a lot
sweet
of
Lorna.
perhaps
She was on
yeah.
Ativan and alcohol. Okay,
Well,
I get it.
and like perhaps some slightly savvier, less
Yes.
naive, and I say that with all the love in the world, women are
Yes.
going to be a little bit more like clued in,
Mhm.
and like it's just going to be more difficult for them to operate.
Yeah.
So I like that. I don't know, just whole take on it, and just how fragile ultimately men like this are, like the Todd and the Stewart, just how like it's all just kind of a facade. And like sometimes that can be really scary, like Stewart, but just how like fragile their masculinity and confidence is, and how kind of just like easily ultimately it can be dismantled. And I think that's just like such a fascinating idea for this movie,
Eli Roth
Hostel
movie.
Part
Yeah.
2.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's really like I hate to say it, but like I
It
do
ruled.
actually really like this movie,
Yeah.
and didn't mind watching it.
It's so
No.
funny. If you're listening and not watching the video right now, all of our faces are like,
They're like,
I could never have seen this.
how did it
coming.
happen? Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I liked things. It's not like I thought Thanksgiving was some masterpiece. I had
No,
fun watching
I
it.
know,
It was
for
I
kind
know.
of,
sure.
but like I genuinely not only had fun watching this film, but like thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
It is. It's
like
saying
I
a
would
lot of great
recommend it to
things.
people,
I
to
would
someone,
too.
right?
yes,
I know.
Crazy.
Do you think I would the Green Inferno? I would rather take both of my eyeballs out.
You know what? Listen, a
and
clock
put
is
them
right
out. Yes.
twice a day.
Self clock,
Yeah.
yes. Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure what his second time is, but this is certainly one of the right
Oh,
times
like
on that
Thanksgiving,
clock.
I guess.
Yes,
Yes,
okay,
I guess,
there we
yeah.
go. We'll give you that. Yeah. I do
Yeah.
have
Broken
lemon
clock.
fever. God, stop.
I'm gonna die for this also. And I knew I would, but I was this the first time I covered this. It's like I
Yeah.
cannot believe how much there is to say about this movie. And I think my current obsession with feminism or feminist movies is, yes, when women are empowered, but also like, are men okay feminism? Like when we're really deconstructing this kind of masculinity. And I just love that, like, part of me is like, did Eli Roth like look at himself in the mirror a little bit and is like,
Maybe for this and then he was
know?
like, okay, I'm done with the
and then
movie.
he was like,
I don't have
okay,
to
I
think
did
about
the
it
thing.
anymore.
Self-reflection
did it.
now.
I
Okay,
gave
on
it
to
the
next.
office. I'm
Yeah.
good now. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the last time we will offer him some kind of, faint half-ass
Pat on the
praise.
back.
Exactly, yes. But I do think this movie is so much better than it should be, considering what came before it. And again, that's not a knock on Hostel. It's not a bad movie. It's just this movie is so much better,
Better.
I think.
Yeah.
It's better
Surprising.
in so many different ways, and I
Yes.
just love
And
I love what
lighter.
it's saying.
And
It lighter
funnier.
too.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to say. Again,
We're talking about a
like,
torture porn movie that goes down pretty smooth,
Yes.
know? Yeah.
Like
I
a
don't know if I'm going to
sweet-
watch it again, but I got to give it cannibalism bonus points too. So that's
I was going to say
that's
the
always a win
cannibalism
for me.
scene was sweet. Those set pieces were great.
Well,
They
I kind of
were.
want to see like the other. It reminded me of Cabin in the Woods. How like when you see all the different rooms of monsters,
We just get
like
little glimpses.
I want to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
the other rooms. Like
Yeah.
what
What's
were you
going
guys
on
doing
in
in
there?
there?
Yeah.
What other setups do you guys have? Like, because the guy who was eating them, it had like a candlelit dinner setup.
Yeah.
It
so
was
it's
a
like some
bigger
of these
room,
places look like
yeah.
they've been coming there for a while. So some of them are like
Again,
decorated
Mrs.
to their
Bathory, like
taste.
she had a whole different setup than some of these
like
rooms.
an HGTV show went in there and like
It's so funny. It does seem
set
like
it
Todd
up.
and Stewart got the poor people rooms. They're like, here's
Yeah,
this
they
shithole.
did.
These
Yeah,
need
they
to be
did.
closed.
They got the discount
Yeah.
rooms.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
entry
they
level.
suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's wrap up with what's coming next.
Unlock the next configuration. And then the last. No. I've done enough. Enough is a myth.
If if you want to follow the show, you can do that on Twitter at the Lady K Pod and on Instagram and Blue Sky at the Lady Killers Pod. You can find me at Jen Ferratu. Can find me Girls on the Boys. We're talking about the boys because it's back. Sorry, I just started going through my Rolodex.
She
All
was
the
the
pods.
rainbow wheel
I
was
know,
loading
yeah.
there for a second.
I have talked about Murder Made Fiction a couple of times on this podcast. Right now, we are about to start talking about the Black Dahlia. So that's going to be really interesting. And we just got done talking about whistleblowers in Chernobyl. So that was fun. But we have a whole month of coverage on Elizabeth Bathory. So go check that out.
Cool.
It was really interesting. I got my soapbox out and I got to geek out about killer ladies. It's awesome.
History, yeah, that's
Exactly. Yeah, it
best.
was. I used to butchered some Romanian names. That was fun
Ah,
too.
yes.
You know. And then on the Losers Club, we are counting down our books. And last night we did our third ranking episode. So check that out. Also, Rachel, where can listeners find you?
Yeah, you can find me on The Girls on the Boys, like you said, covering season 5 of The Boys, talking about
Woo!
Homelander, who would fit right in.
Oh,
Really
absolutely.
hostile-
Yes.
Hostile
Mhm.
people, the rich people, not the women.
Yes.
And then on Halloweenies, we are covering Hellraiser 3 this month, as well as The Omen 3. So a fun time in hell as well over there. Yep.
And Sammy, where can listeners find you?
As always, you can find me at Esther K. Doll on Instagram, on Letterboxd, and on Twitter, and then running the socials for the Losers Club and for this podcast that you are listening to right now. As always, I want to end with a suggestion, and I want all of you to watch it. I'm talking to the 3 of you. It's called Trust Me, The False Prophet. It's on Netflix. It's trending right now.
Dying to watch this.
I
Yes.
cried like a baby by the end of this. Like, I genuinely was just like, this is the most bad bit. The woman who did this, for those of you who don't know,
looking it up right
a cult expert and her videographer husband embed themselves in a vulnerable fundamentalist community
I heard
where they
about
discovered
this.
disturbing evidence about Samuel Bateman, who claims to be the successor to imprisoned prophet Warren Jeffs, who married young girls. And
That's
it's
the
off.
Sweet and Obey. Keep Sweet and Obey.
Oh yeah, it's like the
he was
follow
here.
up to that almost. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's
Sorry.
I
The documentary.
I
Keep
thought
Sweet
you were
and Obey.
saying Sweden, and I was
Oh,
like,
no.
don't think it
Like it's
happened
not
in
in Sweden, Jen.
but it's actually very close
Slovakia.
to.
That's where
Hostel,
Alexander
Slovakia.
Skarsgård lives.
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually in Arizona, I think it takes place. But like, the woman she's just had such an insane life, and she's such a beautiful older lady, and was just like so inspirational. And I just was really moved by the series. I watched it all in one sitting, and it fits like, if we, once we get the ball rolling with our reality stuff that we want to eventually do, this is like the most perfect lady killer thing for us to cover. It covers all things patriarchy and these cults and living in the Bible Belt and all of that. And I just think you should watch it if you have
Yeah.
eyes.
I might watch it tonight.
You should.
And Shelby, where can we find you?
You can find me at Shelby B. Novak on Instagram. You can also find me on the Bloody Disgusting podcast every week, every Wednesday. And you can find me on the Scare You to Sleep podcast every Friday.
And that is it for our episode on Hostel Part
Yay.
2. Shout out to Mike Rothman for the
Yes.
suggestion, the last minute assist.
Never thought I'd have fun talking about
seriously.
a Hostel movie.
Yeah.
Right, sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
I guess some, not all men,
If you like this episode, please give us a quick rate and review on Apple Podcasts. And we also want to hear from you. So we've been getting a lot of Spotify comments. Those are really fun. And I've noticed they're popping up really soon too, which is really exciting.
I like it too.
Yeah,
Love
we
you
love
guys,
That.
yeah.
So yes, keep them
They
coming.
like
Let
us,
us know.
yeah.
How do you feel about torture porn? Do you like this movie? Were you surprised by how much you like this movie? Would you cut a dude's dick off?
Maybe
Yes.
the right circumstances.
Maybe don't put that in
Under the right
Under
circumstances.
the
Don't,
right
don't. Allegedly.
circumstances,
Post your
baby.
eggplant emojis below.
Yes.
Eggplant
Yes.
scissors.
Eggplants and scissors.
You think there should be more dongs in cinema?
Do you think there's
and more
equity?
bush?
Do you believe in dongs for equity?
Do you?
Yes. We ride at dawn. We are going to be back next week, and we are starting a new theme, which I could not be more excited about. It is very much my shit. We are going to be talking about pregnancy horror because Mother's Day is looming, and we are starting off with a big one. We are going to be talking about the original Rosemary's Baby. So, Until then, remember, ladies and ladies, support women's rights, support women's wrongs, and
Don't get off the train with any strangers in any foreign countries, even if it's for like a beautiful hot spring spa. Just really don't do it and just be
Hot
safe.
lady. No,
Yes,
don't
or
do it.
hot, especially
never
for a
that
hot lady.
hot.
If she looks out of your league, she is. Don't
yes,
do
and
it.
it sounds too good to be true.
Be
Probably is.
self-aware enough to know when it's too good to be true. It'll save your life.
Save your life. Yep.